now. We are live, we are live, we are live. All right, people, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to another Black Eyes TV production. I'm happy to be joined today by my elder, my friend, Steve, guitar seeker. If you watch Black Eyes TV, you know we've had it before, talking and bringing in the KEMETIC New Year. This time round, he's bringing some of his students and associates, and we're also joined by KRUM-TV also, so that's a good thing. So it's the usual like, share, subscribe as you come in, taking the information. I'm going to let the brother and Elder Seba introduce himself to you, and then go on to talk to the others.
Dua. Panata apu pamahat ang pasdejet ang puja seneb ubenafikir panabu haru maati. Anu Patasi Kasa, I am Patasi Kasa. Welcome to Black Eyes TV 7, Richie. In today's program, we're going to discuss our story, the precious treasure of immortality, first frequency specifically. And I would like to, before we're going to, first I'd like to say that I represent KHEPRA, the Holy House of Ra. And this production that we're performing now is in respect to our great divine transition Seba, Hedi Kafra, the Hemtepi, the high priest of the White and Gold Lotus Temple, Shrine of Amen-Ra, Stone Mountain, Georgia, who passed away transition last year. So we are honoring him today on this show, the 9th day before the helical rising. And also, we are here to represent, I am here to represent my fellow Sebas, the Naga Ship Association and the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. So we will begin to pass through the panel. We'll pass it towards the Queen Mother Goddess, our great Queen Mother Goddess, Joy Allen, who brings the feminine energy and brings the balance and the stability to the broadcast. And I say to you, my Queen Mother Goddess, Dua.
Dua.
We can hear you, sister, fine.
Okay. And I am Joy Allen, and I am here as part of the Naga Ship Association as well, and the Nagatian Institute. Dua Seba Patasi Grasar.
Dua, Queen Mother Goddess. Panatapu Pamahat. And I think next we have KEPRA Patah. Introduce yourself. Your mic is off. Your mic is off, Seba.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, Dua.
Dua, you, brother.
Dua. I am KEPRA Patah. I am a representative of the Temple of the White and Gold Lotus. On behalf of my elder, teacher, and now ancestor, Baba Hedi Kafra, who was the head of the Temple of the White and Gold Lotus. I represent his teachings today, and I'm also connecting with the beautiful group that Brother Patasi Seba has set up with the Nagatian connection, and I'm here to represent my Nagas. So, you know, any questions that you have around that, as far as breathing, meditation, and so forth, I'm representing from the Temple of Amen-Ra, you know, Temple of the White and Gold Lotus. That's it.
Dua. RAMUTEF Quip.
Wait, he's just coming. There he is. You're back in, RAMUTEF. RAMUTEF, if you can hear us, introduce yourself to the people and tell them who you are.
Okay, RAMUTEF is okay. Until he gets this mic together, we'd like to bring in our great brother, our great young master teacher, KRUM-TV, who is here representing today. He's here today, brother KRUM-TV. Everybody knows who KRUM-TV is. We've been on this platform many times. He has done many wonderful things to bring our community together. And we are here
Right.
to say dua to you, Brother Crump, Master Teacher.
Dua. Peace and love to all of the family, the listening audience of our gracious host, Black Ice TV. It is such a honor and pleasure to be in the room as a gracious guest and as a student, a master student, and a SIBA. Peace and love.
No doubt. And listen, it was an unexpected pleasure to have you joining us, brother. I see the works that you're doing. I've seen some of the shows and videos and content. So definitely big up to you for joining us as a fellow content creator. You understand, unexpected surprise. So appreciate it. As I said, people, today's show is all about bringing in the KEMETIC New Year. Yeah, and amplifying the energies that are about to commence and understanding the time frame in which we're in. As anybody knows who's joined us before, when our brother PTAH has joined us, the SIBA, that's his position. And anybody who also knows about calendar dates constructed, highlighting the KEMETIC time frames that we're in and that we're moving through. So again, I want him to start off by talking about our story, because again, whenever he's on, we emphasize our story. So brother PTAH, start us off, tell us why this time is important and why we're gathering and what we're leading up to.
Dua, absolutely. So what we're going to understand is the importance of the moment, which is the moment of time, and comprehending what our position and frequency in time. So, as everyone knows who has been following us through Crump TV and on my page, you know that there's 9 days remaining until Uben Subtit Cyrus rising. It is the African New Year's, and this is the African New Year's because it occurs when the sun and the star Sirius appears in unison together in the eastern horizon on 30 longitude, 30 latitude, or the Nilotic meridian. And when the sun and the earth, the sun and the star appears together, it indicates scientifically and mathematically that our earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. Now, most of us have been, I understand that we're suffering from PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. We're used to seeing New Year's, December 31st, New Year's Eve. Everybody's down at New York Times Square, looking at this mechanical ball ascend or descend. I'm not sure which way it goes because I never watch it, and that indicates that it's the New Year's. But our ancestors have instructed us through the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, and protection through the daily experience of ponderable matter, which are the Neteru. And so we understand that to comprehend our story, which is first frequency specifically, we must be able to apply this scientifically, mathematically, and with our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality, which means that is represented by the doctrines of Ma'at and the concept of self-creation. We have astrology and astronomy, and we have absolute accountability and star validation. There is no spookism in our spirituality, okay? Our spirituality is founded on the doctrines of Ma'at and the concept of self-creation for millions and millions of years. So first, to understand how to tell time and understand the concept of time, in school, they teach you that the earth has 3 motions. The first motion is the earth rotates on its axis. 24 hours and 35 minutes is the original time. But under 24 hours and 35 minutes, the second motion of the earth is 360 days. Under 24 hours and 35 minutes, earthly cycle, daily cycle. But under 24 hours and every cycle, there's 365 days of the second movement, which the earth revolves around the sun. And the third motion of the earth is that it's tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes the earth wobble. And this means that one complete wobble is 26,000 years, and they call this the precession of equinox, or the phenomenon of precession. So what you learn in school is you learn it rotates on its axis and it revolves around the sun, and that it wobbles on its axis. But you never hear them tell you about the precession of equinox or the phenomenon of precession. Because if they tell you about the phenomenon of precession, then they have to tell you about our story. And so they keep us Hellenized and lobotomized so that we never understand our story, so we're never connected to the cosmic fabric of the cosmic tapestry or the universal environment. So what we're going to do today is we're going to understand how it is that they stole time from us. What was the mechanics? What were the devices that they used specifically? They have a kit. They have a kit that they wake up every day, that they implement every day to keep us into mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. And the world is changing right now. Everything is changing, and we have to be able to adapt, alter, change, and rearrange, and position ourselves accordingly. So they have their knee on our neck, and so that we cannot breathe. And that's physically, but they also have their knee on our neck so we cannot breathe mentally and spiritually. In all aspects of our lives, we are set upon limitations. So we're here to present today our story. We got KHEPRA, who's going to break down the frequencies and the sound. We got RAMUTEF, who is going to bring you back to your birth star, because they stole your star. When you was born, the moment you're born, the moment that your child is born, they devised a way to steal your star of your birth. So by the time the earth goes back around the sun 7 times on your 7th birthday, the star is not in the sky because you're under a lunar cycle calendar, which is called the Gregorian chronological timeline, a Gregorian calendar. And to understand, we have to apply this mathematics, the sacred mathematics, the divine science, and our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. So we're gonna, if anybody would like to speak on this at the time, the Queen Mother Goddess, we all want to make sure that our Queen Mother Goddess can enter in at any time that she wishes to bring balance to this conversation, so that the feminine energy is always present within our dialogue and our narrative. So I would like to pass the mic for 1 second to let Crumb TV might want to bring in some facts, some receipts. You know, Brother Crumb got the receipts. He got them facts. I want him to bring it in, lay it right on the table, so that we can place it and balance it to the scale. Dua to the panel.
Dua. Yes. Well, I have a policy, and I usually do it on my platform, but everything happens for a reason. So I wanted to ask the host if it was okay if I do one of my rituals that I usually do only on Crumb TV on Black Ice, and it's simply where I open some mail. Brother, do you mind?
That will be totally fine, my brother and elder. Go true.
Gratitude. So, my policy and ritual is that if I ever receive anything in the mail, I only open it on camera, just to make it something of a public thing. So here's some mail that I received, and I'm going to open it in front of the family. Haven't opened this yet, so it's my first time opening it. So this is my first time opening it and laying eyes on it. This is the official Crumb TV Rosarian calendar that has been created in my honor. And I wanted to say to all of the family, thank you so much, because I couldn't be associated with a more scholarly, scholastic, right and exact group of people doing an amazing effort to get us back on time. So that's the value that I wanted to initially add by showing my my gratitude and just being gracious. So Dua, thank you so much, Siba.
That's so big blessings. I think the sister wanted to say something. Did you want to say something, sister? I saw you put your hand up. Did I miss that? All right, cool. Anyone who wants to jump in, remember this is an open panel. Just unmute your mic and speak when you're ready. You understand? Add to the conversation when you're ready. Everybody's muted, so remember to unmute yourself before you speak.
That's right. That is the 2000. Your host has unmuted. Okay. That is the 2020-2021 Crumb TV edition. It's year number 10 of the Rasarian, the ancient Rasarian Kemetic solar civil lunar calendar in the Netheruological star timeline. We dedicated this edition, year number 10, to our great Siva for all the work that he has done. He is a soldier. He is at war, placing our family, placing our culture, placing our heritage on the line every day. Crumb TV, we honor you for the work that you do. Dua, dua, dua. So before we begin, so we can harmonize each other, I'm gonna perform my Hesi so that I can bring balance in the frequency to triangulate ourselves with the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, protection through the daily experience and ponderable matter. I shall perform my Hesi, my Saku, my affirmation, and I shall call upon the ancestors, the ancient ones, and the Netherus, the gods and goddesses. As I perform my Hesi, my Saku, my affirmation, I shall begin. Hetepu, Dua, Duau, Anezarak, Ramech, Imhotep. Greetings in divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, my Nagas, my Shemsurus, my Nesupitis, my Hemets, Siba, Sibats, Mudatats, the immortal ones of Ma'at, cherished, phenomenon of precession, new age order, great golden age of Ma'at PSA, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. O Ast, Ra-Mut-Tchr-Ra, the mother of the Neterus, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty and Usa Medu Nefer Hekau, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless us humble servants for Ankh, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 351st day of the year after the helical rising. 9 days remaining until Ubin Suptit Cyrus rising, Upuat, Samatawi, Wet Pet Dejaheb, New Year's celebration, the 27th day of the 10th month of Batar, the 3rd day of Heru, the 21st day of the 4th month of the 3rd season of Pert, year number 9, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, the great golden age of Ma'at PSA. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most sacred, holy, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Aster-Mut-Tchr-Ra, for in the act of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be, from now and forever forward. Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, Pa-Nata Apu-Pa-Ma'at, Unkwas-Dejet, Unkuja-Seneb, Uben Nefri-Kir, Pa-Nebu, Heru-Ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at, every day, all day. Dua, dua, dua. That is the Hesi we perform, and I have my students here. It's not mandatory right now, but if any of my students wish to perform their Hesi, we will grant you permission to address the Netherus to command the forces. But we want to explain is that the Hesi is a way, it's a frequency. Today we have to be on a cosmic frequency. This is a cosmic, this is your cosmic Naga Swaga. First frequency specifically, our story. Okay, this has nothing to do with his story or history. We're here to talk about our story and its first frequency. So I shall pass the mic down to the panel for anyone to have a discourse right now.
Hetepu.
Okay, Queen. We're going to call upon the great Queen Mother, Joy Allen, to perform a history of Saku affirmation to command that allow us love, guidance, protection. To command the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, protection through the daily experience upon no matter. We shall ask the Queen Mother to perform a Hesi or Saku or affirmation. Joy Allen, please perform your Hesi.
Hetepu. Dua, Dualu. Nazareth Ramech, Imhotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, to my Nagas, to my Shemsu Harus, to my Nesubitis, to my Hamets, to my Sebas, to my Sebats, to my Mut Natarts, the immortal ones of Mayat, cherished, phenomenon of procession, new age order, great golden age, Ma'at Hapi Asar, all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley, cultural, cosmic, collective, consciousness, spirituality. Nazareth, O Ast, or Mut, Puat, Necharu, Panabu, mother of the Puat Necharus, mistress of pets, maker of mankind, she who is mighty in Usur Medu Neferu, divine words of power, mother of all initiations. Bless us, humble servants, for Ankh life, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 351st day of the year after the helical rising, 9 Haru days remaining until the Uben Sopdet Sirius rising, Up Uwat Smai Taiwi Wep Rempet Dij Heb. New Year's celebration. 3rd Haru day, 28th Haru day, 10th month Patah, 21st Haru day, 4th Abed month, 3rd season Pert, 10/28/09. AFNKST, after founding the new Kemet, Naga Kemet, Smai, Taiwi, Renpet year number 9, phenomenon of procession, new age order, great golden age, Ma'at, Hapi Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those who gather to worship in your most holy and sacred and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ast Urmut Puat Necharu Pa Nabu. For in the art of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is written, so let it be spoken. So shall it be, so let it be done. For now and forever forward, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at, every day, all day, Dua, Dua'u.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, KHEPRA, come true, brother. Yeah, come true. Speak your speak. You're unmuted. We can hear you. Speak, brother.
Hatepu, Hatepu, Hatepu. Hatepu, Hatepu, Hatepu. Duawu, Duawu, Duawu. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families. My Nagas, Shemsu, Mut Naturs, and Netut, immortal ones of Ma'at, cherished phenomena of procession. New age order, great golden age of Ma'at Hapi Asar, and all citizens and descendants of the Nile Valley, cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. Nejarek Astur Mutpaut Ntr Nebu, Paut, mother of the Paut Neteru, mistress of Pet, that is heaven, or that is the Greek terminology. Pet, maker of mankind, she who was mighty in Usur Medu Neferu, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless us humble servants for Unk. Now, present, we seek the counsel of the ancient ones, and we practice daily the ancient Matian ways, the Matian truths. We strive evermore to become one with you in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this 351st day of the year after the heliacal rising, 9 days remaining until Uben Septet, Sirius rising. Upawat Smai, Tawi, Ren-Pet, New Year celebration, 3rd day, Haru, 28th day of the 10th month, Ptah, 21st day, 4th month, 3rd season, after the founding of New Kemet. Year 9, phenomena procession, New Age order, Great Golden Age, Ma'at Happy-Asar. In your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian Ren of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. For in the art of seeking you there is much comfort, so as is written, let it be spoken, so let it be done. For now, forevermore, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. Hatep, Hatep, Hatepu.
No doubt, no doubt. Listen, the elder's going to be joining us. He just sorting himself out, famous RAMUTEF. But I know, can you hear me? Qatar, yeah, that's what. KHEPRA, you was
Yeah.
about to speak and elaborate on what the elder was saying about the new year.
Sound like we kind of got cut off. Can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me again? I don't know what's going on with this sound right now. It's trying to block this frequency because we're coming too powerful. But yeah, continue the conversation from where the elder left off of the importance of this time and those such things.
A lot of things that have to do with time in our existence. One may pose the question, what does it mean to be human? One of the Hu, or one who works through divine utterance. What is the purpose of our existence? What is our ultimate destiny? And most importantly, how do we fulfill that destiny? So whether we believe in the various theories of creation, it would appear that we have been granted the ability to not only transform our human beings, the arts and science that would aid us in our intellectual and spiritual evolution. So we see the evidence of our ancient civilizations, and there were systems put in place for the civilizations of individuals to evolve and advance. They call these, some people call them mystery schools, but they were actually self-mastery schools. So we see the temples, the writings, the systems, the sundials, and the calendars left behind by the ancient ones to remind us the reason to be mindful of the cycles in which we thrive in. So we have been told that the West is an extension of plans formulated around the time of the European Renaissance, blah, blah, blah. However, now that we see that it started long before that. But when we look at the Renaissance, it talks about there being a time when Europeans decided to tap deeper into the knowledge that was served to the, or that is kept from the public by the church. This was including the knowledge of the calendar and the time, as they also begin to manipulate the time and seize hold of it to keep people under control and keep people under the civic calendar and so forth. But unknown to the general public, that stream of knowledge that helped enlighten Europe emerged from what they call Greek philosophy, with ancient Kemetic Naga influence, repackaged as Hermetic, Greco-Roman, occult philosophy, and Kabbalah, and so forth. Europeans began to study these texts that were filled with ancient knowledge and wisdom in an attempt to understand how the universe worked. This would be the beginning of an era in that civilization that has led up until now. And it bears the reason that perhaps George G.M. James was on to something in his book entitled Stolen Legacy. So when we look at the concept of what they call holy, like for instance, people throw that word around, but to be holy is to be whole, to heal, and to make whole. The word holy is derived from the word helios, which is the Hellenistic word for sun. The sun being the generator of light in our solar system is pertinent as a reality reflected by the light of reason necessary in developing the minds of every individual. This was the solar mysteries meant to awaken the individual. I call this solarization. However, solarization is only one aspect of the solar, lunar, and stellar, not mystery schools, but mastery schools. In ancient Kemet, we learned that they revered the sun, Ra, because of his hands in bringing forth life. And Ra is also the light in the form of life force and photonic energy. And one of the names for Kemet was Ta-Mere, meaning, or Ta-Meri, meaning the cult of cultivated land. It was also the land that Ra brought forth the Ramach, which means the tears of Ra. Human beings are actually considered Ra's tears. In other words, made of light slow. So it was from this we get the idea of the blessings of the land as the tears of Ra. Each and every one of us being the tears, our aspects of consciousness which we emerge from the primeval ocean of nothingness. So the tears of the sun emerges as human beings. We must also return to the primary ocean of nothingness in the guise of water. This does not rob us of the ability to create and take our place in a collective memory within the minds of our descendants. Thus, we become immortalized through our ideas and our actions. We're able to declare our names like our ancestors as words of power and claim our birthright, which is immortality. The Cometians were blessed with the knowledge to terraform our planet. How? By generating spiritual power, they knew how to spiritualize matter. When spiritual energy is brought into matter, the object becomes living. We find this method within the teachings of alchemy, the art of transmutation. When you look into alchemy, you will discover that operations are performed on certain times of the week, certain solar, lunar, and stellar cycles. And when performing such alchemical operations, discoveries are made. This knowledge was and is to make our planet an ongoing life-generating system that can radiate this life force energy throughout the cosmos. The word cosmos meaning order. So this is why certain individuals are here to bring forth technological advancement and also restore the time and the knowledge of the sacred time sequences, which will acclimate us to the right seasons. For instance, a lot of the food and the things that we do and eat are out of season. So just like a lot of things that we do that are out of season according to the age in which we live in. So this is the factor in how and why our evolution was important to be acclimated with time. We go through cyclic stages of growth. We're here to evolve with our universe. The wisdom teachings of Kemet shows us that the planet on which we live and the universe in which we inhabit must go through constant transformation. So we have planetary seasons and galactic seasons, which is why the elders of the human race, that is our ancestors, invented the calendar. And it is said that the calendar was invented by agricultural societies so that they could observe the heavens in order to understand when to plant, harvest their crops, and so forth. However, this was understood on many levels. So we must keep in mind that the Cometians had not just one calendar, but also a triple calendar. A balanced form of timekeeping technology was brought forth to keep track of the days, months, weeks, years, and the great years. A great year is performed, or that is the precession of the equinox. Some say 25,920, round off to 26,000 years. This is called the phenomenon of precession, or the precession of the equinox. On the Kemetic calendar, we're coming out of the age of Uncle Set and into the age of Ma'at-Hapi-Asar. Set was the age of Pisces, where the slogan for that particular age was I believe. But since we are seeking our immortality, you do not be and leave, because that which you are on an unconditioned level is actually permanent. So we are moving into the age of Ma'at-Hapi-Asar. We have just about entered it, and therefore we are coming into the knowing. So we go from the believing and into the knowing, but it is important to be aware of these cycles so that you'll understand the nature of events that are taking place around you. So now in Indian tradition, it says that we are in the Kali Yuga, which means the Iron Age. However, there's also recent studies by Sri Yukteswar that says that we actually left the Kali Yuga in the 1700s, and that we're actually beginning to advance more and more. So what a lot of people see as a dark age, there's actually the coming of an awakening in which we will start to become more knowledgeable of new types of technology, new forms of medicine, and so forth. So the object used by the Ramage to cultivate the land was the plow, the mr, which a lot of means also means means treated with love. The plow. So when the mind is developed, I might talking about the plow because it is a very significant civilizations around the world had advanced calendars. And you'll also notice that many times they were by rivers, and they also had pyramids or pyramid-like structures. So the word myrrh is associated with love. The plow was a piece of technological development, making it easier to cultivate the land. So whenever you cultivate something like you're cultivating a land, what you cultivate is an act of love. It is an act of care. So if you notice that in the Hesse, we pay homage to the great mother Mut, Ast, or Aset, because she represents that nourishment, that nurturing aspect of care in which we must cultivate if we want to see anything manifest. The secret to manifesting and bringing forth a stable, healthy community is to cultivate care. The development of this form of agriculture, working with the calendar and so forth, also led for us developing music, developing other ways of connecting with the land through mathematics as well as with the sky. Also what they call, some people call it heaven, but we're trying to stay away from that. We say Nut, the great mother. When the mind is developed, like we say, all kind of things are brought forth because each and every one of us are here to help transform civilization and transform society. So the development of mind leads to knowledge, wisdom, understanding that in turn increases our capacity to love. Now I'm also connected with the Yoruba traditions as well. And we'll notice that the word love is Ife, which also means expansion. So just like when you love, when you have that energy of love, it's an expansive energy. This is how you build your community, aka your common unity, because you're able to expand. And when you're expanding, you're also in harmony with the universe because it too expands. So the plow and to cultivate the land was considered love because it was about caring. And when you care about something and when it's nurtured, it grows. When it grows, it becomes strong and healthy. This is the practice of paying homage to the ancestors. And this is why we want to do things in season. Because if you have that type of care, then you'll also be able to pay attention to the times in which you live. And you'll know the nature of the events in which it's taken. I'd like to pass the mic, by the way. Attack.
No doubt, no doubt. Listen,
If anybody got any questions.
you laid down a good hefty piece of information right there, yeah. And again, people who's listening, if you're hearing stuff that resonates with you, or there is something that, again, you're hearing that you're not sure about, type your question up, or it's going to take you having to rewind the tape later and retake in what's being said. Sister, the elders coming back in to join us, but sister, I know you was going to say something and kind of our wires crossed. Was there anything you wanted to add? Yeah. On top of what my brother was saying, hold on, let me just bring the elder back in. That's cool. Can you hear us, elder? That was a mission. That was a mission. I know we was working behind the scenes to get you back.
Man, Uncle Seth was working hard on me over here, man. They shut down my phone, shut down my computer, everything in the house lights went out. I said, I just paid the bill. I got the CIA outside my window. For those of you who who really doesn't know, there is a decree. Is it okay for me to speak right now?
Yeah. KHEPRA just laid down a good piece of information on the premise of what we're doing with frequency.
Everyone has to understand. Okay, can you hear me okay here?
Yeah, I can hear you. Don't worry.
What everyone has to understand is we are injured humanity, meaning we are mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave. We are in mental slavery right now. They have a decree in equity which says we're injured humanity. For you as scholars that can Google this, okay? Because like Crumb, we're bringing the receipts, we're bringing the facts. But what you have to understand is we are the immortal ones of Ma'at. We are the universal monarchs who are known as the Nagas. We ruled this planet for tens of millions of years. Okay? Now, what they did was they put a contract out on any melanated person, any black person who speaks of this cosmic revelation called our story. So when you see the things that are happening to us, these miscommunications and the technology and stuff, these don't happen by chance. These are deliberately put there to stop us from communicating. Okay, so they have a 5,000-year-old contract on anyone who speaks about African spirituality or the resurrection of the legacy of our spirituality on this planet, or becoming the rulers of this planet or the monarchs of this planet again. So in order for us to understand that, let me carry on. We have to understand time. So to break this down into IP, because I'm dealing with a lot of teachers and a lot of people who said that PTAH's calendar is a phony calendar, it's pseudo. There are not 9 days in a week, they say. Everybody on this planet knows that there's 9 days in a week but black people. The scholars don't even know it's 9 days in a week. Everybody knows. All the theologians know. All the ecclesiastic people know. Everybody knows, because as long as you don't know that there's 9 days in a week, then you'll always be injured humanity. A mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave, and they have the right to put their knee on your neck until you can't breathe. The same way they're putting the knee on your neck, the way you think and the way that you express yourself. Everything is being contained. So why is there 9 days in a week? Because of first calendar reform. We did this on Crump TV 3 or 4 times. We did the special. Everybody is supposed to know that there's 9 days in a week, because Julius Caesar in 46 BC reformed our calendar. So we went from 9 days to 8 days. We went from 10 months to 11 months. Everybody's supposed to know this. Just Google it. It's in the public domain. Everybody knows Julius Caesar got assassinated by the Senate. Then came Tiberius. Then came Augusta. And Augustus Caesar put himself on the map through Sosthenes. Sosthenes is the vizier of Cleopatra. And we went from 8 days to 7. We went from 11 months to 12. That's why there's July and August, and July is Julius Caesar, and Augustus Caesar. So we've already went through that part on Crump TV 3, 5, 6, 7 times. Everybody's supposed to be up to date with this. We're trying to get you to understand about the Ren-Pet. The Ren-Pet is when the helical rising, when the star and the sun rises. There's 9 days remaining. What's going to happen in 9 days? There's 9 days remaining. All of a sudden, it's back to black people having spookism. This isn't no spookism. This is our sacred science. This is our divine mathematics. This is our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. So if there's 9 days in a week, that means there's 36 days in a month. There's 10 months in a year. That's 360. So there's only 360 days in a year. So we went through this before. The first movement of time, the first movement of the earth, it rotates on its axis. 24 hours and 35 minutes. That means that with the second motion, the revolution of the earth around the sun, there's 360 days in a year, because it's 360 degrees in a circle. So now, this is the original calendar of mankind. It's called a solar calendar. The only problem is there's only 6 forms of life on the planet: plant, insects, reptiles, water creatures, birds that fly, and animals. Man and woman is not here yet. There's only 6 forms of life. Enter calendar number 2. It's called the Jehusian calendar, where each day is 24 hours in every day, which means every revolution around the sun is 365 days and a quarter days. Now, this is the kit that they use. You got to get. Now, what we have to understand is, why is it that they can pass down to their children and their ancestors and their descendants how to maintain our mental, physical, spiritual subjugated slavery, that we're running to the plantation every day to go to work, but yet they can pass that, but we cannot pass down to our children and our descendants how to pass down our liberation and our immortality and the first frequency specifically. So everybody that hasn't watched the show before, we're trying to bring this all together here because I'm already running 25 minutes behind. I came halfway in on there. When you wake up in the morning, you have the Gregorian calendar on your wall. They control your time. When you look at your watch, because you know we got to know what time it is, because you know you're going to the plantation. You know you got to get that check. You're on the GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time, and UTC, which is Universal Time Coordinated. That's Stonehenge, England. They have stationed that as the center of the earth. When everybody knows that the center of the earth is the Giza Plateau, which is 30 longitude, 30 latitude, which is the Great Pyramid or the Merku. Okay, so we have to, right. So everybody, let's try to get a comfort. Let's get a handle on this. Let's get a handle on this so we can figure out what it is that we're doing wrong so that we don't do it wrong again. Everything is changing right now. Everybody's mobilizing all through the world. They're waiting for the Nagas, the Shemsurus, and the Subitis, our great Queen Mother Goddesses, to stand up and to thrust themselves into a pivotal position. But we can't do this if we don't know how to tell time. We're just mental, physical, spiritual subject. We're not even on the table. We're not even on the grid. We're playing blackjack with a deck of Uno cards. We're playing football on a tennis field. You need a grid. You have to be on a proper grid. And our grid is called the precious treasure, immortality. So this is what they did. They got a kit. They've been working on a kit for the last 5,000 years. You thinking you're waking up, you're slick. I got to come up today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They've already got you smashed down. They already know what you're going to do. They have a kit, and that kit is the Gregorian calendar. Once you operate under the Gregorian calendar, you'll always remain a slave because the Gregorian calendar is a lunar cycle calendar, meaning every 30 days is a month. Any calendar that has 30 days in a month is a lunar cycle calendar. Gregorian calendar is a lunar cycle calendar. And the bad things about the Gregorian calendar is that every 130 years, one unearned day is added to the calendar, which means you're not going to see it in your lifetime. Your child's not going to see it, and your children's children's not going to see it. But 600 years down the line, 700 years down the line, the sun doesn't line up with the spring equinox. It drifts, which means that if you plant the seed during the spring equinox, your crops are not going to grow, and the population starve. Hence, calendar reform. So while they subjugate us and rape us, rape our children, rape our women, take our resources out the ground, and place us into mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery, all the while controlling our time. So PTAH is from KHEPRA, and this year is the calendar number 9. This is year number 10. Now, how can this be year number 10? Because PTAH says it's year number 10? Of course not. Because of the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, protection to the daily experience of ponderable matter, which are the Netarus. So we have the cardinal points. Everybody knows that the spring equinox, on the morning of the spring equinox, on March 21st, on the Gregorian calendar, it only means equinox means when day and night is equal. So we're going to use the Gregorian calendar as a geodite, since this is where we've been trained to do, so we can reach it. I can reach you there. So let me bring you to the March 21st on the Gregorian calendar, which is the spring equinox. Before the sun rises, you look 23.5 degrees from vertical, 23.5 degrees up, and whatever constellation is in the sky is where we're located on the galactic elliptic plane of our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy, simply meaning where we are within the phenomenon of precession of the 26,000 years, or where we are within each and every sign of the zodiac. We're moving through great golden ages. Because the first movement of time, first movement of the earth, it rotates on the axis. Second motion, it revolves around the sun. And the third motion is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble, which is 26,000 years. One wobble is 26,000 years. It's called the phenomenon of precession. So now, our ancestors left these ancient architectural megalithic monuments orientated to the celestial axis to ensure us that we see these things. But we've been Hellenized and lobotomized. So now, if you look at the spring equinox in 2021 on the Gregorian calendar in the springtime, on March 21st, and the sky is clear in the morning, the constellation of Pisces, which is Uncle Set, and Meduneta set. Pisces is a V, and at the top of the V is a cluster of stars. That cluster of stars has fell below the horizon. Will not be seen again for another 24,000 years. Whether you're here or not, it will not be seen in the spring equinox for another 24,000 years. So it happened in 2012 that it fell below the horizon, which meant that we are no longer in the great golden age of Pisces. We are now entered into Pisces, which is set. We've entered into the great golden age of Aquarius, which is Ma'at Hapi Asa. Okay, that's why everybody says we're in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius. Everybody knows that song. Okay, so now 2012, the Dogons and the Mayans said it would be the end of the world also. But it wasn't the end of the world. It was the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. So we count 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Okay, and we go 6 months to July, to the month of July, and now we come to year number 10. That's why I'm telling you this is year number 10. This is not the Kemetic year 6,700 and flip-flop flappy dolphins jumping around in circle Samatawi. Because it cannot be, because you use the Gregorian chronological timeline to count backwards. So just by using your slave master's chronological timeline to count backwards to find our spirituality is impossible. It's a state of retardation to think that you can do that as a scholar. So I am not a scholar. I have scholarship, but I'm not a scholar because that'd be an insult to my ancestors to say that I was a scholar, because that means that I'm a Greek and a Roman. We're here to present to you our story, and we're giving you this story for free. This is what we do at the Nagaship Institution, the Nagaship Association, and the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. We're giving away this information and teaching classes, home training for free at the Nagaship Institution. The Nagaship Association. So let's everybody understand how to tell time here. Okay? So then we got to understand what time is. But first, let's understand how to tell time. Now, the Merku, which is the Great Pyramid in Giza, has star shafts. They call air shafts. They're star shafts. The star shaft to the south points to the constellation of Pleiades, to a constellation of Orion, and to the star Septet. And the star, which regulates the movement of the Earth around the Sun, which is the yearly orbit. This is how we know how long it's the seasonal or the yearly orbit. Now the star shaft to the north points to the circumpolar stars. They call them the never setting stars, or Tawa Wert, the upper star, the northern stars that never set. And we have Polaris, Vigan, Draco, and Vega. 6,500, 6,500, 6,500, 6,500, 26,000 years. This is how we know to the northern star shaft where we are located on our galactic plane of our quadrant Mercury galaxy, meaning what constellation we're in, what age we're in. So all the megalithic architectural monuments on this planet are orientated to these stars, because that's how we told time. So it doesn't matter if it's in India, in the Lower Caves, Borobudur, Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom, if it's in South America, Teotihuacan, if it's in Pumapunku, it doesn't matter, Easter Island, it doesn't matter. Us Nagas have built all these structures all over the planet. It's a global Naga presence. So just let's learn how to tell time and understand where these geodites, a geodite is just another Greek word meaning fixed position. You have to have a geodite, a starting point. And our geodite is the Nilotic Meridian, which on July 25th on the Gregorian calendar, the star rises in front of the Giza Plateau. You go down the Nilotic Meridian, you hit Nabta Playa, you hit the Sudan, you hit Meadoway, Napata, Kerma, Muri. Okay, that's the Sudanese pyramids that are that 90-degree angle pyramids. The necropolis in the Sudan. We have our brother. I'd like to give a shout out to my brother in the Sudan, Amru Mary Amen, who will be on the show with us on July 25th. We're going to do this is just a precursor here, everybody, to the Ren-Pet. We're just trying to get everybody to start thinking about it, because you know how we are as Black people. You know we on CP time. You know we are always late. We always late. No wonder why we late, because we know that's not the right time. So we're just gonna be on any time we can, but not on that Gregorian time. But anyways, this is a precursor to get you to comprehend your divine birthright. Because once you understand the concept of time, it's a frequency. And once you hear the cosmic breath, it's the first frequency specifically. You should feel a tingle behind the back of your cranium there, behind your ears. That's your pineal gland, the secretin. And when you feel that goosebumps on your back, they're not goosebumps. They're your chakras igniting. You have to be able to embrace it. See, they stole your yesterdays. They're denying you your tomorrows. All you have is right now to comprehend this moment. It's a frequency. And to comprehend this moment, you have to triangulate it. And to triangulate it means we have to look at it scientifically, mathematically, and with our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality, with the astrology and astronomy to have absolute accountability and style validation. You don't have to believe me. You have to know. When you know the science, you know. When you know the mathematics, you know. When you see the sun and you see the air and you see the trees and you see the river flow and everything, this is you. This is our spirituality. And it's a frequency. So in order to have this frequency, first of all, you have to have the limit. Don't mind me. I'm on a roll right now because they already cut me off. They already cut me off. I'm not going to get cut off again. I'm going to talk until I can't talk no more.
Go in, brother. Go in.
This is a frequency. In order to have this frequency, you have to know the limit. There is a limit. There are rules of engagement to be a Naga, a Shamsaru, a Nasubiti. Just because you're a Naga doesn't mean you're the righteous one. We have Nagas that are Shamsu sets who roll with Uncle Set. But I'm a Shamsaru. I come from the great line of Nasubitis, born from Heru. I'm a Shamsu Heru, born of Heru. Anuk Heru. So we have to understand that the livet, see, they have a diet. When you eat the food, they call it a diet. We don't use the word diet because the word in etymology, die is already in the word. So why I'm not following anything that's a diet, because obviously you're going to die. What we have is a livet, and there are 5 rules to the livet. It's called the stomach is the key to salvation. And the 5 rules of the livet, it starts off, it says that the air you breathe, the food you eat should be as the air you breathe. In with the good, out with the bad. If it doesn't operate like that, if it stays inside, it occupies a spot where it's supposed to be, not supposed to be, it decomposes the body, and you get sick, you get the ailments, and you get them European sicknesses. Now, the 5 rules of the livet, if you want to have the frequency, because it's all a frequency. It's first frequency, specifically Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. This is the precious treasure. This is immortality. So in order to have the precious treasure and immortality, you have to, the body is the temple that houses the spirit of the cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, and protection to the daily experiences of ponderable matter. So you have to make sure that the body is in the right purification. So rule number 1, eat only of the seed. Please write this down, everybody, so that you know what's going on. It's very simple. 5 simple rules. Rule number 1 is eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. That's rule number 1. Very simple. Rule number 2, never eat and drink at the same time. Do not mix your solids with your liquids, because when you do, you create an acidy brew, which makes the stomach bloat. It overworks the digestive system and it turns it into an acidy brew, and the stomach bloats. That's why everybody's stomach is blown up. Everybody's blown up sideways. We've got a big giant knot up under your chin. You're losing your hair because your hair follicles are burning out because you're eating that man's food. Do not eat and drink at the same time. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3, eat as the table earth prepares the food. And that means from the earth, from the vine, or from the tree. It's only coming from 3 places. Eat as the table earth prepares the food. From the earth, from the tree, from the vine. Rule number 4, never eat to your fill. Don't overeat. Don't glut yourself. Don't eat everything in the whole room. Save something for somebody else. If you eat everything, it's unma'atian of you to eat everything. You never eat to your fill is rule number 4. And rule number 5 of the Livit, of the golden rules of the Livit, of the Shemsa rules, the Nesubitis, the Hemets, the Sibats, the Mutnatats, the immortal ones of Ma'at. Rule number 5 is fast occasionally. For certain periods of the year, you must refrain from eating to detox, to cleanse, and to purify the body from all the contaminations that you placed in it during your, at night. Last night you ate that little freaky before you ate that cupcake and that apple pie with ice cream. You know what you did last night. You know you're not supposed to. You know you did. You know you broke that rule. Then you got up in the morning and got something to eat, and you know darn well you didn't digest the food that you ate last night, and yet you compounded with what you ate this morning, and you continue to do this. Don't mind me. I just have to keep things for real for you, but keep it a little comical at the same time. Because I don't want you to get too serious about it. But stop breaking the rules, because this is the rules that gives you the natural frequencies. So now you got the frequency. Now you eating properly. Your body's in the proper. The body is the temple that houses the spirit of the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. So now, bam, you're on your way. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you cleanse yourself, you go in the kitchen, you get the fruits, you eat the fruits. You're on your way. You're on your way. What happens now? You check, you got to understand time. Now they already got you set up with the Gregorian calendar, and you got a watch on your hand. So now you're still a slave. So take the watch off your arm. I don't care if it's a Rolex, cash it in. If it's a Timex, smash it. All right, get rid of the watch on your arm. Take down the Gregorian calendar from your wall. If you do not, you will always remain a mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave, and your children will. Why is that? Because the Gregorian calendar is a perpetual calendar. So if January the 1st, 2020, hypothetically speaking, is on a Monday, 2021 it's on a Tuesday, 2022 it's on a Wednesday, 2023 it's on a Thursday, in 2024 it's on a Friday, and now 25 is a leap year, so now it's on a Sunday. So they jump you to Sunday. And when this happens for 7 years, the star that was in the sky at your birth is not in the sky on your birthday. Does everybody understand this, that they stole your star? By using the perpetual calendar. That's why we have RAMUTEF is in the front lines right now. RAMUTEF is he is the lead astrologer at the Naga Institute. The Naga Association and the Nagati Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. RAMUTEF will do your star charts. He does it electronically. He runs you right back into oblivion. Brings you all the way up into our Milky Way galaxy, our quadrant Milky Way galaxy with Pleiades, Orion, and Sirius, to our solar system, the 3 planets. He puts you on our planet, sets you up at the eastern, on the spring equinox, and he runs the stars back at your date of birth. He'll show you, he'll have your star chart for you. So get in touch with RAMUTEF right here. Give me a breather here, RAMUTEF, because I'm gonna go cosmic in a minute. Please explain to the people. Let RAMUTEF, since he's back into the queue again. Yeah, let him explain. Let him explain how it is that they can find the star of their birth to regain their birth star. RAMUTEF, please.
Look at that. He just dropped off.
But it's okay.
He's having technicals. He's been dropping in and out.
Is it okay for me to continue, Queen Mother Goddess and KHEPRA? Is it okay for me to continue?
I request when you continue, if you would, speak on the first law of existence, and energy must be spent. Also speak of the first law of energy, where energy must always exist and expand.
Ooh-wee! Queen Mother Goddess, you just want to take them cosmic. You think they're ready to go cosmic right now, Queen Mother Goddess? You want me to rush them into the primeval ocean? Nothing. They're not ready. I'm gonna bring them there. Let me bring them there first, Queen Mother Goddess. Okay, the Queen Mother Goddess wants y'all to hit this frequency, so I got to go into it right now on atomic energy. So now, what is time? To understand time is atomic energy. To understand where we come from subatomic energy. So first, let's comprehend what is time. We already know how to tell time. Earth rotates on its axis, revolves around the sun, and it tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which creates a wobble 26,000 years. It's called the phenomenon of precession. We all got that one, right? Okay? Let's make sure you got that. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you don't understand how to tell time. Now, the fourth motion of time, they call the Zep-Tepi. The Zep-Tepi means before time, or the first time. Zep-Tepi and Meduneta means first time. Zep means first, Tepi means time. Zep-Tepi, it means the first time. But in order to understand the origins of existence and the creation and development of the universe, you have to understand that which is before time. Because when we understand what time is, we understand that the Zep-Tepi is before time. Because time is the movement or measurement of the light through the void of deep dark cold space from one point of distance to another. So there is no time if there is no light, because time is the movement of the light. When the light starts to move, that's time. So the light is atomic energy. The light, our sun, is a hydrogen atom. It's a proton and neutron surrounded by a nucleus that has an electron. So we have to break this down scientifically, mathematically. And with our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality, this is triangulation. This is the metaphysics of the comprehension of the esoteric information. You have to always apply everything scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. Also having astrology and astronomy to have absolute accountability. So let us begin to get you to where the Queen Mother wants you to get, because she wants you to understand the frequency. And for those of you I know who follow me daily, and my students are ready for this, but I know we're on Black Ice TV. We're on the other side of the world here, but I know my brothers over there. I got to live it together too. So this is a great coming together, a great mobilization we're doing here. So let's begin. Time is the movement of the light through the void of deep dark cold space from one point or distance to another. Speed, 186,000 miles per second. However, the Great Pyramid base is 198,000 miles per second. So I'm gonna go with the Great Pyramid base and say it's 198,000 miles per second. Now, light is the absence of darkness, and darkness is the absence of light. Light is the giver of life to all things on the terrestrial plane within the atomic domain. Life is the consciousness and awareness of being. Life is the generic expression of the light, and it's only found in three forms: solids, liquids, and gases, matter, the elements, nature, the gods and goddesses, the Neterus. However, the light, KEPRA, atomic energy, the sun, Ra, is not the Zep-Tepi. The light is not the origins of existence in the creation and development of the universe. The light has a mirrored reflection, and that mirrored reflection is radiation. How do I know this? Because you're supposed to know that, because the sun shines its radiance down on anything. If it shines its light down on anything that's matter, solids, liquids, and gases, it's going to create a shadow. So you ask yourself, what is that shadow? And you don't even know. You just call it a shadow. But I bet you if the heat got too hot on you, you jump in that shadow because you get that shade so you can cool off. You'll jump in that shadow to cool yourself off. But now while you're cooling yourself off in the shadow, ask yourself, what is it? So you have to be able to understand things esoterically, and to use the principles which are the cosmic forces, in order for you to interpret that which was once uncomprehensible is now understandable, because you're applying these cosmic principles. So if the sun is a hydrogen atom and is atomic energy, it radiates its light down on anything that has solids, liquids, gases, even air. If air condenses into coldness, it will reflect. You'll see a reflection of shadow on the ground or on the wall or off a tree. If the heat of the desert is hot, if the sun is so hot, the air starts to bake. You can see ripples. You can see the shadows of the ripples. So the reflection, the light makes shadow. The light creates a mirrored reflection. Every reflection becomes a shadow, and this shadow is called subatomic. So now you're able now to applicate atomic energy with subatomic energy. Now you're able to to conceive that which was once incomprehensible is now understandable and visible. You know the proportions of the universe. So now we're breaking down, we're going into subatomic energy. So now we have to break down the laws and principles of the Naga ship, of the star gospel, of the RSGUT, the Rosarian Star Grand Unification Theorem. And we know that the first law of existence is that energy must be spent. The first law of energy is to always exist and expand. What does that mean? So we have to applicate this, remember, scientifically, mathematically, with our cultural, cosmic, conscious spirituality. Ping, ping, ping. This is a Naga shit. This is just cosmic Naga swagger. Okay? You have to always be thinking cosmically. And it comes right to you because it's a frequency. This is what the Romans and the Greeks couldn't get. They couldn't get the frequency, so they stole your time. And when they stole your time, they killed your army, and then they imprisoned you, and they kept your heel, their heel on your neck, and their knee on your neck, so that you can't breathe, just like they're doing today. I can't breathe. This is why you can't breathe, because you have to think cosmically. You have to be able to project cosmically. So when you understand that the first law of existence is that energy must be spent, and that the first law of energy is to always exist and expand, now we're into the Zep Tepi. This is where KEPRA is telling you about the frequency, about the sound, because energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released, because motion is a requirement in the separating of the collective energy contained within the motionless cold void, such as Nu, the primary motion of nothingness, dark energy, oblivion, or dark energy, oblivion, or the primary motion of nothingness. Nu, the primary motion of nothingness, dark energy, oblivion, and a cosmological constant. I'm just talking about one thing, the all of alls, where everything is, was, and shall be is contained. Okay, I just using all these ologies so that doesn't matter where you're coming from. If you're a mathematician, if you're a scientist, if you're a spiritualist, we got you covered. Because we're from the temple. We're from the Naga Institute. We're from the Naga Association and the Nagathian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. So let's get it together here, people. So if energy that is collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. This is where KEPRA was saying, and when we relate this to our cultural spirituality, we know that in the pyramid text, in the Mastaba text, the pyramid text, the coffin text, the Mastaba, the Shabaka stone, the Kemenu, the Heliopolis text, and the Theban text, in the book of Come Knowing the Evolutions of Ra, the book of Overthrowing of Pepi, the chapter Coming Forth by Day Every, we know that the creator, who is our creator, is a he and she. Our creator is androgynous. The masculine and feminine energy of our cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality began from the masculine and feminine, and it shall end with the masculine and feminine, which will be, there is no ending. The beginning is the end is the beginning. It's a continuous perpetual evolution. It's called continuous perpetual evolution. So when the creator spoke his name as a word of power, this is the beginning. The name became the sound, and the sound became a wave, and the wave became a rhythm, and the rhythm became a frequency, and this frequency permeated throughout the universe, and it took form. And in the pyramid text, so when you have, now we're talking Zep Tepi, we have to say scientific now, stay to the facts. Roll me out some facts, give me up some receipts here. Crump TVs, I seen that flash Crump TV up in there. We're on Black Ice TV, we need some facts, we need some receipts. So we know that the creator spoke his name as a word of power in our cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality, but now we have to reflect this over to the science and the math at the same time, because we're triangulating at the same time. This is cosmic thinking. This is how we have the frequency. We're able to think scientifically, mathematically, and with our cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. Bam. So we go scientifically. There are 4 primordial field forces: electromagnetism, strong force, gravity, and weak force. And we know that we mirror reflect that to our science, to the math, and the math is the 4 attributes of manifestation of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. These 4 attributes of manifestation is his name. He became Temu. Temu means to think. Temu means thought. Temu means to plan in Medu Necha. Temu is equated to mentalism. which we equate to the first primordial field force in science is electromagnetism. Then he became PTAH. PTAH Meduneta means the door. PTAH Meduneta means the opener. PTAH becomes the strong force on the scientific balance of the scale, which is PTAH is the strong force, which is the second field force. Then he became Amen. Amen means the hidden one. He or she who is hidden. And Meduneta, it means the hidden one. And Amen is equated in science to the primordial mound or gravity. And then he became KHEPRA. KHEPRA is the beetle with the sun disk on his head. The beetle with the sun disk on his head representing atomic energy is the fourth attributed manifestation of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. This is our story. First frequency specifically, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. Okay, this is your cosmic Naga Swaga. You should be feeling it right now. You should have them chakras should be igniting right now. This is the fourth primordial field force, which is the weak force, which represents the outer verse and the black holes and galaxies which are pushed away from the universe, which represents the expanding universe. That's atomic energy. We exist in the outer verse. So KHEPRA becomes the fourth attributed manifestation. And how do we all know this? Because we know the Meduneta. We know the Mastaba text. We know the pyramid text. We know the coffin text. We know the Shabaka stone. We know the Kemenu. We know the Heliopolis text. We know the Theban text. Okay? So in these texts, the Creator says in Meduneta, it says Anuk, Anuk, which means Anuk means I am, and FT, which is masculine and feminine, means I am he, she. I am he, she, who existed in the primeval ocean of nothingness, eons and eons of evolutions ago, before the beginnings of time. When I thought that the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth, and I uttered my name as a word of power. With this power that was my birthright, I fashioned myself in forms from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. I was alone at this time. There were none others with me then. I am the beginnings of time, which began when I took form and commanded the power. Now it came to pass that I found no place upon which I could stand. So I straightway brought forth from my own mind and thoughts the primeval mound from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Being that I was alone at this time, it pleased me to make others. So I went from being Netcha 1 to Netcha 3. I made these beings in the manner in which all things are made. I, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, the he, the she, the mother and father of all existence. I embraced my shadow, and I grasped my member, and I loved myself. I issued forth the Netcha Shu, and I multiplied his forms millions and millions of times. I gathered a portion of the remains, and I swallowed them. And I spat forth Tefnu. They are my heart and soul, twins, one of the same birth. And where you find the one, you find the three. For the three is of the one is of the three. Shu and Tefnu had union and gave birth to 7 Nut. And 7 Nut had union, and they gave birth to the earth Neteru. And they go and follow the 5 earth Neterus who were born as Heru-Ur, Asa, Ast, Heru-Ur, Asa, Sut, Set, Asa, Ast, Heru-Ur, Asa, Set, Ast, and Nebhet. Asa and Ast gave birth to Heru. Heru and Heteru gave birth to the Shemsu-Herus. And that brings us all the way. That's our cultural spirituality. I can relate it back over to the Zep-Tepi again. But now that I got you down here to the 5 children, it comes down to the 9 days that remain today. Tomorrow will be 8 days remaining. And when it gets to the zero day means the Earth is made a 360-degree orbit. It means it's day number 360 on our calendar. And the next 5 days are the days that these Earth Netchers are born. That's why it's so important for you to understand this countdown, because there's 360 days in a year. There's not 365 days. There's only 360 because there's 24 hours and 35 minutes in every day. Today's calendar, there's 24 hours in every day. That's why there's 365 and a quarter days. The Gregorian calendar, it severs you from your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality. This is what that lunar cycle calendar does. It's only good for growing crops. It encapsulates you inside of a box into limitation so that you can no longer feel the cosmos. You are from the cosmos. You come from the stars, you shall return from the stars. So now, on the next 8 days, comes down to 0 on a 360 day. On the next day, we celebrate. These days are not even accounted for in the calendar. This is what freaked the Greeks out. They said, what happened to the next 5 days? They said, these boys over here partying and fasting and celebrating and meditating. They didn't know what we was doing. We're into our culture. Oh, woo! There's spookism. This ain't no spookism. This is sacred science. This is divine mathematics. This is cultural spirituality, astrology and astronomy with absolute accountability and style validation. What part of the spookism? That's the scholars. The scholars are the spooks. All that Hellenistic paradigm doctrines, they got us Hellenized and lobotomized with all this corrupted information. This is your cultural spirituality. So check it out. So let's check it out. Let me see if I can get you to feel this frequency. So on day number 1, after the 360 day, we celebrate the birthday of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. And we celebrate his birthday. Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra is the firstborn. He's personified with the head of Uncle Set and the head of Horus on one body. That's Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. He represents universal dualism, or he represents day and night. And they say he makes the earth spin from day to night. That's why he has 2 heads. He represents dualism. The next born from the womb of Nut and begotten of Seb, not Geb. If somebody tells you his name is Geb, they're lying to you. They're Hellenizing you through the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of energy humanity, through scholarship, through God in the sign list, through E.A. Wallace Bowles, through Bremstead, through Petrie, through Reisner, through Birches, the Germans, the Dutch, all these going over there, corrupting your information. That's why they say, oh, the Medunetta can't be spoken. Yeah, we speak Medunetta. We've been speaking Medunetta. Everybody's speaking Medunetta but you. All the white people all over the world speaking Medunetta. Everybody knows how to speak Medunetta, but do you know how to interpretate and to put it into our culture? They understand how to speak it, but they're placing it into historical information. As long as you got it in the historical content, then it's used against you. But when you use it as our story, then you become Ra-born, Ra-Nu as a star. You expand with the universe forever and ever. You become immortal. This is the gift of immortality. So let's break down these days here, because you got 8 days remaining. It's only 360 days. And yet there's supposed to be 365 days a year, but that's under a 24-hour cycle. Okay? But now we're under 24 hours and 35 minutes is the original calendar of mankind. It's a solar calendar. This is the Ipeteru Shabit Temtuaru Pamaat, the ancient Vasarian Kemetic solar sidereal lunar calendar, and the Neteru star timeline. See, we have a Neteru star timeline. They have a Gregorian chronological timeline. Please understand the difference. If you're following the Gregorian chronological timeline, you count back from 2020 to 0 to year number 1 is AD. It's supposed to be this guy named Jesus. The AD means Ani Domini. Ani Domini means in the year of our Lord. It doesn't mean after death. Ani Domini means in the year of our Lord. Now they have you count upwards. BC, BCE. But they have another count that's called AUC. AUC is Ab Urbe Cortita. A is Ab, A-B. Urbe is U-R-B-E. And Cortita is C-O-R-D-I-T-A. Ab Urbe Cortita. For you scholars there, for you ecclesiastic people, all you gotta do is Google that and you'll see first calendar reform. Yes, Queen Mother Goddess. I bow down to you.
Dua Siva.
I need some water anyways.
Yes.
You're working me. You're working me, Queen.
Good. So I'm gonna pass this questions to Siva KHEPRA, and or you can just continue. So the 4 questions that we know.
No, let KHEPRA. Let the big
KHEPRA? Okay. KHEPRA, the 4 questions we covered. The who am I? The where do I come from? The why am I here? And where am I going? If you would, Siva KHEPRA. You have to unmute the mic.
Can you hear KHEPRA?
He has to unmute his mic.
If you want KHEPRA, I can just wing it. I can wing it, KHEPRA, if you want me to.
Hold up, 1 sec. Yeah, you're muted, KHEPRA. That's what you got to do. Unmute your mic. You're still muted, brother. Yeah, now you're muted.
Tapu. Can you hear me? All right.
We
So
can
one
hear
of the
you.
things that's important. Do I?
We
Now,
can't hear you.
permissioners
Can't.
proceed.
I can't. Talk a little louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. With permission to proceed.
Tapu.
One of the things that's important in ancient Cometian tradition, as well as in the surviving African traditions, is that you know who you are. And we do this through a method called divination, where you'll be able to learn not only who the netters or the spiritual beings who are over you, but also what your path in life is. So that is something that I do for those who are interested. I can actually divine for you, and I can give you that information because it is taught that each and every one of us have come to this earth with a mission. And what happened is that through the birth canal, you were shocked when you came into existence and you first came into the light, and you forgot everything. You forgot what your mission was in the land of the ancestors. So it's kind of like the Matrix. You made the decision, so you got to figure out why you made that decision. But what are the things that I also specialize in outside of that? I also do the divine sound vibrations, in which I believe and understand and know that the universe is actually held together and formed with light and sound. So when you have a special name, when you have a name given to you, a lot of times that name is given to you either through the astrological interpretation or through divination. However, that name represents who you are and the contract that you have come to this planet on. One of the reasons why a lot of us are not in alignment with our destiny is because we are under a sound vibration that has taken us away from that. Or a lot of times, people may not have known that the name that they came in here with may have meant something, but they may have chosen a name that has taken them away from that destiny. So what we do is that we can figure out your name, and we can also figure out who the deities or the Neturu are over you. I do that as a priest that has been initiated into various systems, and I line them up with the Orishas and the Neturu. Ashe, Hatep. That's how I do it. Now, as far as with PTAH Osiris, I had mentioned earlier, if I have permission to proceed on that, I'd like to talk about the sound vibrations, right? By the way, did I answer your question, sister, about as far as who am I, why am I here, and so forth? Okay, that is very important. That's one of the first things that you learn when you get a divination and when you go to any tradition, usually that survives in a West African construct. Who am I, right? Why am I here? And what can I do to put myself back in alignment with my destiny? All that system that's in West Africa is connected to all that which came out of the Nile Valley. It's all connected because our ancestors did not stay in one place. They traveled. They took that knowledge with them. They set up pyramid civilizations around the world that are connected via ley lines, right? And you'll also notice something else. These civilizations also had writing scripts. Of course, they had calendars and they had languages, and they understood, or each and every one of them have a story of how existence came into being with a sound. So one of the things that is important is to understand that you can actually change your personality and change your vibration with a sound. When you go over and over again with a particular sound, you're activating a certain part of your awareness and you're acclimating yourself to a certain frequency. So, Siva mentioned earlier about us being the seventh form of life in which time has been allotted for. Because before then, we were dealing with only the Western concept of the calendar. We are dealing with that lunar cycle. But when you have the complete calendar, understand your start time, understand that that time that caused you to be here has been allotted for, you represent that seventh being. In alchemical tradition, this represents perfection. So we are, each and every one of us are here to perfect ourselves and remember, or remember. And this is the key to your immortality. Not so much that it isn't yours, but you just have to simply remember, because we have forgot, and forgetfulness, that is the sickness. So as the seventh form of life, you are that self that is generating reality. Each and every one of us collectively, we are agreeing that this is here. We're agreeing about the certain times in which we're supposed to be on. That's why it's important that this calendar reach critical mass, because the more people agree to it, the more consciousness will expand around it, and a reality will be shaped around that. So Herodotus spoke of the ancient priest of Kemet who had the ability to utilize these sounds and actually raise their own consciousness. So with simple observation of this English language, we see that there are vowels and consonants, of course. Now in the age of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, we see that we're dealing with working with the sound and with working with water and air. How? Well, first of all, let's look at the symbolism, from the Gregorian point of view, right? They're talking about a man. You see a man who was carrying a water jug and so forth, right? Now, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, we see that deals with the air element. And we will also talk about the sacred breath. We'll benefit when we breathe correctly, eat correctly, like eating of the seed and so forth, and drinking more water. That is something else that we need to do, and communicating with water, because water carries information and water also holds memory. This has been talked about by various scientists. One of their most favorite is Dr. Masaru, who has actually written a number of books about how you can actually freeze water when you have the right sound vibration, or by putting a sticker of love or something on the jar, you'll get these beautiful images and these very, very geometric, I say correct shapes, as opposed to, let's say you put hatred on the jar, I hate you, and then they freeze the water, and you'll see that the crystals are ugly and they come out distorted and so forth. Well, since your body is also composed of water, then it would bear the reason that if you chant the correct sound vibrations or certain sound vibrations and say certain things, then that memory is being stored within your body. Remember, you're held together with 14,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Each and every part of you is made up of atoms. And when you split an atom, it has the power to actually keep a city powered for 6 months, or even level a whole city. That's how much power you have in your body. So when we talk about being able to breathe correctly, that is very important, because it is the in and out that you see that is taking place in the universe. The universe expands and contracts, and that's how we live, is that friction that is important to keep us alive. We also speak of the now. A lot of Commission traditions, or brothers and sisters that work with the Commission tradition, we talk about the Nile Valley, and we talk about how the Nile is within your body, because everything that you see happening in the universe is also happening inside of your body. As above, so below, as within, so without. That is the law of correspondence and so forth. You look in the Kemetic literature, and it talks about the Ba goes to heaven and the Kat goes to earth. So the Ba to heaven, the physical body to earth. However, they're in unison, just like Shu is standing between Nut and Seb. He is holding up the sky and standing upon the earth. And as human beings who are each manifestations of the tears of Ra, our job is to hold up the sky and walk upon the earth, hold up our minds, elevate our mental as we walk upon the earth and remain grounded. This is why you see Ma'at, she is kneeling, because she represents the truth that is grounded. In order for truth to take flight, it must first ground itself. So one of the things that we can do when we're looking at this time is to learn about working with water, working with breath, working with the sound. Because it talks about how the Creator, some say it was Ptah, according to the age, some say it was Atum, but we say that is Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra in the book of coming forth, knowing the creations of Ra. Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra actually declares his name as a word of power. And that's what we want to be able to do. And that is declare our own name as a word of power. But first, when you know yourself, it is easier for you to align with your destiny, because you're acting in harmony with your purpose. And that is the reason why it's also good to have the times lining up in the correct way. Because if you're only dealing with the civic calendar, which is the lunar calendar that is designed to keep, to grow your food and cultivate your crops and so forth, that can only take you so far. But as Siva talks about, each and every one of us, we come in with a star that is permanent, and it always lines up on the same day, which is different from the birthdays in which we utilize on the Gregorian calendar. So at that, this talks about us being on a certain frequency. So language is important. Every language, like I said earlier, it uses vowels and consonants, and when it comes to speech, it is necessary to understand what we say are all utterances. Everything that we say is like a prayer. So we want to make sure that the things we say about ourselves and about our sisters and brothers will elevate ourselves and elevate them, as opposed to speaking the words of disempowerment. So when you look at other scripts, like even the Hebrew and the Greek, all of that got their knowledge from Kemet, we will see that these letters have numbers behind them, also representing the various frequencies, right? We'll also see that they consist of consonants. Now, Kemet and these other earlier scripts, you'll notice that many times the vowels are not mentioned, but you will see the consonants and so forth. And this is why there's so much speculation and debate on whether or not the Medu-Neter has been translated and so forth, but the code has been cracked and much of it has been translated, and many of us are relying on that which came from the Middle Kingdom and so forth. So we take note of the ruins of these ancient civilizations. We see the testimonies of such creative knowledge that stood the test of time. And we also notice that the stories all match up, right? Like, for instance, Asar or Osir put in a box, resurrected. You look into Mexican tradition, we look in how he was actually murdered, betrayed, and put inside of a box, and later on resurrected. And we'll also notice that they had like all these various different calendars. You look into the Mayan tradition, they have more than one calendar and so forth. So all these societies, they built these monolithic temples, and they all share this common story. And they talk about creation being held together with sound. And we have spoke about that. So I just wanted to reiterate that. The ancients also spoke about the ability to transform your environment and your inner self, as well as the outcome of an event through the chanting of words of power, like Hekau, what they may call mantras and so forth. And just like there are 36 days in a month, as spoken by Siva, we also want to awaken 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding within ourselves. And for those who are familiar with the writings of Stephen Mailer, who talked to the Nubian Kemetic brother, who told him that you have 360 Neteru within your body that are within your consciousness, and many only have awakened only 2 of them, then this is where we start to see that there is a correlation as above, so below. What are the things that I learned? The first thing that I learned from Baba Hedi Khafra, may he continue to rise in divine excellence as a Ka, forever living, and a Ba, forever maintaining. He taught me what is called the triple Hesi. Now, Siva Patasika talks about the divine integer of 3. So therefore, you will see this in the triple Hesi as well. So it starts off as Amin, Amun, Amma, Om, and right? Now, this particular deity, Amun, was actually worshipped as Amun-Ra during the time of Aries, as Siva Patah points out. So I'm not trying to get you to go back to that time period, but what I'm trying to show you is that there's a sound vibration that you can tap into in which you can awaken. Now, Baba Hedi Khafra was of the temple of Amun-Ra. So keep in mind, we're dealing with different stages and different schools of thought. So there's no shade being thrown, but just keep that in mind. So every deity represents a sound. Amun or Amen is connected to the Hindu Om, which did not start with the Hindus. It started off as the sisters and brothers who set up that civilization of the Dravidians in Mohenjo-Daro, right? That was actually the sign, the symbol, or the sound of the mother. And if you look in Arabic today, you will still see where it's Om, which means mother, right? So Amen, Amun, Aman, Om. The word Aum also represents the sun. So vibrating this particular sound, you'll be able to fill the holes in your aura. Because as you go through life, sometimes you run into traumatic experiences that will rip a hole in your aura. Sometimes we do things that are unhealthy. We may eat correctly, not get enough sleep, or we might come across some type of frightening event in which a hole is ripped in our aura. Unhealthy living, or not going out in nature enough, not being around the trees enough, not getting enough of the negative ions, right? Because we're around all this tech that vibrates at the frequency that is actually going against your ability to maintain your physical health and so forth. So you talk about the Om, you heard this, right? So if you do this enough, what this will do is this will thicken your auric field. Amun, Amin, 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 Amen. Or the sound vibration for Ankh. Ong. As they like to do at the Shrine of Ptah. Ong. And then he faces all the four directions. Say Ong. It's something that you want to do daily because you want to make sure that you're protected from negative thought forms that are sent at you, because people actually can project thoughts not only from their mind, but actually from the emotional body and from the heart. And heart waves are actually stronger than mental waves. That's a story for another time and another season. But getting back to the Hesi, we talk about the triple Hesi. We start out with Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, Ra, Ra, right? So why do we chant? When you chant something over and over again, you are bypassing the conscious mind. By chanting something over and over again, and by breathing correctly, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper until you're reaching that so-called triple stage of darkness that the brothers and sisters used to talk about in the nation and so forth. Or you return back to that part that is a menta, that hidden part of you, or you return back to what they call the first time, the Zep-Tepi within you, because you're transcending time, because that part of you which transcends time is unconditioned. And when you tap into that, that is when you have tapped into that immortality, which is our birthright that they have separated you from. The psychological aspect of that is being able to transcend the artificial time in which they have you living under. So when you reach that part of you, you're able to manifest more of the things that you want in life, because you're going beyond the conditionings. Because a lot of us have been conditioned so much that we have a hatred for everything that our ancestors have come up with. We have been taught to love everything that the oppressor has brought to you and hate everything that the oppressor hates. Love everything they love, hate everything they hate, and so forth. So in order for us to do that, we have to change the stories that's played over and over again in the most innermost part of ourselves, like a computer virus or a virus that you might get on your Android, so forth. And what happens is that you got all this stuff in the background slowing down the program. You have to go to the core and you have to get rid of all the crap that basically surrounds the original purity of who you are. Because in the back of your mind, a lot of this stuff manifests as poverty. A lot of this manifests as illness. Can't get along with your significant other, and so forth. A lot of this came about because of authority figures that used to talk to us in certain ways when we were growing up, and this corrupt education system that bring forth the Hellenistic scholars, as Siva points out. So, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, Ra, Ra. That is the triple Hesi taught to me by Baba Hedi Kafra. Ra means to show me your face, Amen-Ra. Ra means I am the power of Amen-Ra. Amen-Ra, I am Amen-Ra. So you identify first, just like on every tradition, you'll see that there's three parts of it. When you're first learning, everything appears to be on the outside of you, right? Like, for instance, the Abrahamic faith, on the outside, everybody appears to be worshiping a God that is outside of them. But later on, you begin to identify with the power of this being. And then when you reach the highest level of realization, you discover that you're not separated from the supreme being or from this particular aspect of Amen-Ra. So the triple Hesi Amen-Ra reactivates awareness and the power of the will. Along with this Hesi to Amen-Ra, we'll also greet his family, because Amen-Ra has a family, has Mut and Kanzu in that particular time. The same formula is utilized for whatever deity that you would like to work with. So Amen-Ra and his family is acknowledged in the Temple of the White and Gold Lotus as the divine family. Therefore, the divine masculine, the sacred feminine, the holy child, they're all acknowledged. So you have to use this triangulation and have awakened in order to awaken the cosmic consciousness within our beings and remove the negative and basically transcend. So the way this goes, you can do this 108 times in the morning and 108 times before you go to bed. Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, Amen-Ra, 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 Amen-Ra. Then you greet the mother. Amen-Ra, Mut, Mut, Anuk-Mut, Amen-Ra, Mut, Mut, Nuk-Mut, Amen-Ra, Mut, Mut, Anuk-Mut. Then you greet the son, who is Kanzu. Amen-Ra, Kanzu, Kanzu, Anuk-Kanzu, Amen-Ra, Kanzu, Nutiteret Kanzu, a new Kanzu, Necharak Kanzu, Nutiteret Kanzu, a new Kanzu. So when you repeat something over and over again, you're bypassing the conscious mind, okay? In fact, hypnotherapy, or those who are familiar with hypnotism, they have discovered that the way that you bypass the conscious mind is by boring the conscious mind so that it basically get frustrated and leave. And then you have access to what is called the so-called subconscious mind, right? Because the subconscious mind picks up on everything that you do not consciously pick up on. You could be actually subconsciously picking up on the arguments that are taking place down the street next door, or you can be picking up on some music far away, or on some broadcasts farther away. So this is why it's good to keep yourself in that level of remembrance. So the Hesi or the chant, that's a good way to continue to keep yourself in alignment. Plus, you're vibrating and also Ra. The Ra sound vibration is connected to the solar plexus, which is a will. So you're basically strengthening this area so that you can have a stronger will, as you're also strengthening your auric field and you're expanding it. So you also could do that with the breath when you sit still and you breathe and you meditate. So one way that you can do it is just sit still, right? When the age of Hapi, the age of Ma'at, the age of Asar. So you sit still. You want to meditate on that breath, because this is the wind. This is the air, right? So this is part of your sacrifice. This is the way you do the ritual. This is the sacrifice you make, as a sacrifice of air. So you sit down. You breathe to the stomach, to the diaphragm, and you count to 4, or you could say, Ra, Ra, Ra. Hold it. Ra, Ra. Breathe it out. Ra, right? And hold it. Ra. You got the triple Hesi, which represents the 3, and then you got the 4 count that you're holding for the breath, representing the sacred 7, which is the symbol of perfection in the alchemical traditions of people who may be familiar with that. So next you have PTAH, Sekhmet, Nefertum. That's one of the triads of Menepher or Memphis. PTAH, this has activates the cosmic consciousness within each and every one of us. PTAH is the opener, aka the strong force, the shaper of cosmic awareness, as well as the blacksmith. We talk about PTAH. PTAH is the opener, but interesting enough, for those who may look at various languages, you discover that PTAH survives in the Arabic as Al-Fatah, one of Allah's 99 attributes, connected to that religion of Islam that's still acclimated to the lunar calendar, with the 360 deities that he took out of Mecca and kept alive and so forth, but they still go by the lunar calendar. However, PTAH is Al-Fatah, right? The first part of your Quran, if you're familiar, if you deal with Islam, it has Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha is the opening prayer. So PTAH is the opener. He also survives in Sanskrit as Buddha, because the B and the P are pronounced. A hard B makes PTAH. So it's Buddha. Buddha, bud in Sanskrit means to open. So you can see the etymologically line up. They all line up etymologically, which tells you that you're not a tradition, because those who practice the African, Afro-Asians who practice Buddhism were called the Nagas. So you see how it all lines up? Naga also means serpent, because you want to awaken that serpentine energy and get it to go upward to the spine, so you can become an awakened being and be like the Nesu Biddy, who at the awakened Uraeus on the top of his nemesis, right? It said it spits venom at his enemies. Well, once you're awakened, your enemies won't be able to touch you. They just simply won't be there, because you'll know where to be at the right time, at the right place, because you'll be attuned. So PTAH is the opener. Sekhmet, she's the cosmic fire and power. That's the nectar that can both cause and take away sickness. Those who were the priests of Sekhmet, they were healers, they were the doctors, they were even the surgeons of that time. In fact, amazingly enough, there's evidence that there was brain surgery practiced in ancient Kemet and so forth, where they would basically take the heads of ants and use those heads as the stitches. And so they were brilliant. So they even had surgery back then, right? So then you have Nefertum. Nefertum is the perfect and complete one, and Nefertum is identified with the sacred lotus. Now, when you look at the lotus lily, right? The lotus lily that you find in the swamps or the lily pad and so forth, they open up when the sun comes out, and then when the sun comes back in, they retreat. Goes back down, they retreat. The lotus represents your consciousness. Remember, bud in Sanskrit means to open. So Buddha actually means the one who has opened up, not just the enlightened one, but when it was opened up. And when you open up, you expand and you're in harmony with the universe, because the universe itself is also expanding. Then you have Amun-Ra-Hum. Now, a lot of people talk about how corrupt the priests were back in the 18th dynasty, and they talk about how Amun-Ra was corrupt and his priesthood was corrupt, and they were basically taking all the wealth and so forth. And one of my questions that I've always had, not to throw any shade, but why are the brothers and sisters who claim to be priests of Amun-Ra broke today when the priests of Amun-Ra had money back in the days, right? So I did some divination, and what I came up with is Amun-Ra-Hum. It's very similar to, for those who are familiar with Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra's works, we got Ang-Asar-Hum. It's very similar to that chant that's Om Ahum of the Buddhists, for those who understand Pure Land Buddhism and so forth. So you have Amun-Ra-Hum, which is financial wealth and abundance. You want to chant this Hesti 108 times in the morning and 108 times before retiring and so forth. Amun-Ra-Hum. Because in order to connect with the riches in which we have outside around us, you got to activate those riches that you have within yourself. And each and every one of us, we're rich. We just don't know it. We have forgot because we're out of alignment with our immortality. So therefore, we're out of alignment with our abundance, because we're identifying with those things which are temporary as opposed to that which is within you that is permanent. So Amen is the hidden, Ra is the light, and Hu, which you find in whom, is authoritative utterance. This is the hekka that opens us up for financial abundance, wealth, and opportunity. In order to do that, like I say, you got to tap into your inner wealth. Because if you don't understand the wealth that you already have within you, then you're broke no matter what. You can win $10,000 and it disappears overnight, you see. But when you connect with that inner wealth, you're always in abundance. Wealth and abundance is everywhere. So you can, even if you was to go somewhere out of town and lose all your money, you'll be guided to the places that have the food, that'll make sure that you're taken care of. I've done it. There's been times when I basically would just do this chant or do similar chants and go outside and find money on the ground. Okay, so you have to put yourself in alignment, and you have to give yourself permission to receive, because a lot of us as Black people, we have taken poverty vows. We got to get beyond the poverty vows, because we tell ourselves that money is the root of all evil, but it's the love of it in identifying selfish means that makes it the root of all evil, not so much as exchange. Because when you're judging how your wealth is going to come to you, you're putting yourself in that state of limitation. And sometimes the reason why a lot of us do not want to receive is because, let's keep it real, a lot of us don't want to give anyway. So you give yourself permission to receive. Okay. Then you have Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. I've added Hu Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. I divide upon this particular Hesti because, of course, we know that it represents the name of the divine today, where we got two Ra's. We got the one representing the atomic energy, then we got the subatomic energy. But in the center, you got Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, which is the Lord of the universe. However, Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra represents a very powerful energy. So when I divined for it, it said that you want to put Hu in front and Hu in the back. However, you also want to do this Hesti when you are fasting, and it's a good time when you're drinking water and to go on a water fast, from sun up to sundown. So you want to chant this Hesti on a fast, and you will also benefit from chanting it on a dry fast because you are learning restraint. And then for those who are familiar with the chakras, now I've heard people say, oh, well, the chakras are from India and so forth. And this is why I got to point out that the Nagas left these civilizations throughout the planet because they all lined up, because they were in a harmony. They were dealing with harmonies and balance and the rotations of the earth. But when you deal with his story and you're away from your story, which is your Nagaship, but you're caught up on their scholarship, then you'll be confused because they make you think that there was never any connection to any of these civilizations. And it just so happened to have the same thing on the other side of the planet. Just like there just happens to be a Ankh on top of one of the pyramids in Mexico, right? They just said, oh, this happens to be, or they make sure that they just simply don't tell you about it in history. So the chakras, learn about the chakras. There's nothing wrong with learning about the chakras. We need to stop letting people shame us about connecting all the pieces of Asar because they're scattered all over the planet. We let people shame us and say, oh, well, you got away from Africa. Africa was not just in one place. Africa spread all throughout the whole planet. We're the proof of that. We're here. So we're all over the place. Everywhere on the planet, you're going to find us. And, I love me some us. So you're going to find us everywhere. It's just that sometimes the history has been suppressed. And what you're seeing is you're seeing the people who have been so invaded and conquered and mixed. A lot of times, like Malcolm X mentioned, if you keep on putting milk in your coffee or cream in your coffee, you never know you had coffee. And that's basically what has happened. But those traditions and that knowledge still goes back to the time of when the Nagas were in those particular settings. So when we look at the chakras, KHEPRA taught me to call these the Aritu, or the seven lotuses, which means in Kemetic Sheshen or Shesheni, which actually survives in Hebrew as Susan. So Shesheni means lotus, the lotus or the lotus lily, right? So the first sound vibration of the chakra that is in the root area, that's Lam. Lam, that deals with the reproductive power as well as the ability to be creative in the world, right? My bad. I got that one mixed up. I got ahead of myself. So Lam, that helps to ground you and it centers you so that you may handle the circumstances that are necessary to survive in the world, like your finances, and making sure that you're eating healthy and making sure that you're breathing right and making sure that you are grounded. Remember, Ma'at is grounded because in order for truth to take flight, it has to be grounded. So one of the reasons why we don't finish our projects and get our projects done because we're all over the place, we're not grounded. How can you ground yourself? You can't ground yourself in Ma'at. So like Ra or Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra needed a place to stand. So he had to first experience weightlessness, but eventually he finds solidification in order to experience the phenomena of being. That's us, right? You can't be heavy-hearted if you go before the divine scales of Ma'at. Because if you're heavy-hearted, if your heart is not weightless to match the feather of truth, then you'll be held back and denied your immortality, in which you will be true of voice. And you can declare your name as a word of power. So we go to Vam. Vam, that's the next word sound. That deals with the reproductive power as well as the ability to be creative in the world. In order to be so many people want to call themselves gods and goddesses, but if you're not practicing creativity, then what are you doing? Because that's all the divine does is create. So if we're here to co-create, then we are to take on the ability to fulfill our mission and co-create. When we get the knowledge of the time, right, and we know the time, then people will know how to create on time so that you don't start a whole bunch of projects and be all over the place. You have to be focused, right? So that's why you want to get those first centers down. You want to get that Lam, and then you want to get the Vam. So the first one is Lam, the color is red. You focus on that particular color, and then you chant Lam. Lam, that's the connection to the earth. When you're connected to the earth, then things can manifest, right? And by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about that because a lot of people tend to mess with the higher chakras and they don't want to ground themselves. So therefore, they might can look at, I've seen this. I've seen people who can literally look at your aura and read your life, and they're space cadets. They are not grounded. So what it is that this very same person who has all these psychic abilities, they can look at your aura, tell you who you're sleeping with, tell you how much money you're making at the job, but they're homeless because they're not grounded. Right? So what you want to do is that you want to ground yourself. So Lam, Vam, Yam, these three sounds, they're connected to those first chakras or those first Aritu. Also, you can focus on those chakras and chant the Amin-Ra Hesi. Ra, Nuka-Ra, and you can chant for each chakra, each Aritu 7 times. Right? By the way, side note, KHEPRA, hold on 1 second because the juice is running out on my up here.
Yo, people, the brothers are made that hard information, people. Well, if you haven't already hit the like button, go ahead and do so. We're touching the 2-hour point here, so in a bit we're gonna start to wind down, but we've had a nice build to open up this channel show. Definitely. So show some love and make sure you hit that like button for this video and share it out. Yeah, while my brother's sorting out his sound, again, this is a show showing love, bringing into meaning and understanding about the Kemetic New Year, what we're celebrating, and the reason, the holistic reasons, how and why we're doing it. That's what we've been talking about. So the brother's just doing a slam, and he's going to continue on with his build. You get me? But if you haven't done it, please hit the like.
What's that?
You sorted? Yeah, that's all. We can hear you now, brother.
What's that?
Right. Yeah, we got you. Go true, brother.
Okay, so I thank you. Do-ah-oo. So we had talked about lam, vam, and ram. Lam and vam. And we were also going to talk about ram. That's what it was. So those first three is lam, vam, ram. Those are your first three chakras, one in the tailbone area, one in your reproductive, and then you have the one in your stomach area, which they call the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus. So remember, you have to deal with lam, you have to deal with vam. That's dealing with your creative and your reproductive and vam. But then ram or ra, ra. This is the mantra that is used to remove fear and doubt and anxiety from the individual. So it is directly linked to the power of the will. It is also good for calling down healing energy into a room to charge up the area. Remember, you send out brain waves. You also send out heart waves. That's important because the energy that you work with, the energy of your body, is not just where you're sitting. You're actually emanating energy around you. You know, there's some people, in fact, evidence of this. Remember the old TV sets that you used to have back in the day, but then you have to adjust the antenna and they were shaped like boxes. Now we got flat panels for TVs. But if you stand on one side of the wall, one side of the room, you'll mess the TV up. And then you walk to the other side of the room and you'll actually literally straighten the TV out and so forth. That's because you are in the electromagnetic field. So you are also a living antenna. So keep that in mind. You resonate with various things. So when you're on a certain frequency, if you're resonating a certain frequency, then if you get a high frequency, just like a tuning fork, when you stand around people and you're around people, people will begin to resonate with you as well. You'll also be able to attune other people just by raising your own level of consciousness. So we said Ra talks about, I'm talking about working with the solar plexus and the ability to call down the energy into a room, and you can use that energy, you can heal with that energy and so forth. Yam, that is connected to the heart, and it is used to remove the fears and the doubts, as well as, once again, you got fear and doubt that's what holds you back, but it's also important to activate the center because it helps to express yourself as well as connect with others. People who have a blocked heart center have a tendency to not be able to really connect with others good, and therefore they find themselves alone and isolated because they push people away. And a lot of times the heart closes because of the traumas and the pains in which you've been through, the fear of being hurt again and so forth. So a lot of times when a relationship has been ended, it is good to work with this particular chakra. If you got to take your hand and rub it counterclockwise 36 times and so forth, it will help you to basically heal that energy, send energy to your heart, love your heart, right? So there's a whole lot of things you got to do with your heart other than just let it beat. You know, you got to be careful with the food that you're putting in your stomach. Because, like, you know, one of my elders used to ask, what were you doing to get your heart to attack you? What were you doing for your heart to attack you? So you have to put yourself in alignment with the energy, as well as you have to think a certain way that is of a higher level, higher quality of thinking. Because when you're thinking low level and when your heart center is closed, this will also invite sickness into your body and sickness into your life, as well as accidents and everything else. So next you have what's in the throat. Ham. This is the mantra that's good for warding off negative psychic attacks. When, you know, somebody might be sitting around burning a black candle in the room and they're sending negative energy at you because they're mad at you. I mean, likely this is not as common as somebody who's just thinking negative. You know, they're hoping that things don't turn out right for you because they're hating. And a lot of times we pick up on that. So what you want to do is you want to chant Ham. You want to chant Ham and focus on the color blue. Chant Ham and focus on that color blue in the throat and so forth. Now, also, this increases the power of the mind. So a lot of times, a closed throat chakra can also deal with social anxiety, afraid to speak your truth and so forth, and anxiety around speaking your truth. While a lot of people who could be keeping it real, they can't, or they feel like they can't keep it real because, well, the throat chakra is somewhat compromised, right? So, one way that you can tell that if you feel the need to not tell the truth or lie and so forth, or if you just can't get the words out, sometimes it's good to work with that chakra in order to get your words to flow more correctly and to remove social anxiety. And again, then we have Kasham. Kasham. Now, that's, some people say no, it's Om, but I'm going to say Kasham because that's what I learned. Kasham is a mantra for the first eye that opens up the way so that the high and the lower self can receive the energy from the universe. It has to align you. So you focus here, you chant Kasham, 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 Kasham. And for those who are familiar with Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra's work, the Mental Network Volume 1 and 2, that's talk about Kashang, Kashang, Kashang. It's the same vibration. Only difference is there's an NG in one and there's an M in the other. Okay? So then you have what you call your prime mantras, right? You have Om, which we talked about once again. That's the mantra to activate cosmic awareness, and it raises the life force energy of the spine. It also helps expand the auric field, make one impervious to negative thoughts and vibrations. Okay, because the thicker your auric field is, the more powerful your protection is, and you can get it so thick that you can walk into a room and people will sense that energy and they will turn around and look back at you. I.e., this is the mantra that helps with the power of concentration, right thinking, right speech, and so forth. So it's good for the intellect. It is the link to the planet Mercury. It also connects with the network that the messengers of the gates and so forth. Like, for instance, as I learned from KHEPRA, you can work with these Netzeru if you want things to be open for you with the triple SC and Netzerak Sebek, with the Tere Sebek, Anuk Sebek, Netzerak Ampu, with the Tere Ampu, Anuk Ampu, Netzerak Apuwat, with the Tere Apuwat, Anuk Apuwat. Ram. Oh, no. I think I said Ram already. Yeah, I'm just moving. Gam. Gam. This particular mantra helps to cultivate knowledge. It also helps to strengthen the intellect when it comes to mathematics and scientific information. It is linked to logic and verbal skills. Shri. This mantra is linked to beauty, health, and prosperity. It's also connected to the strengthening of plasma and reproductive fluids. Shum. This mantra helps with the increase of one's vitality and sexual vigor. It also deals with the creative parts of the mind. It also hides the name of the netter, Shu, who is depicted standing on top of Seth, the earth netter, and holding up his mother, Nut, the sky netter. And here's one of my favorites. In fact, I just give this one all out. It's either clean or clean, right? From the Shekel Runner from it, he talks about clean being connected to Heteru, right? And you can do the triple SC for Heteru, and Shirak Heteru, and Tetter Heteru, and New Heteru. And there's also clean. You chant clean over and over again if you want to find that significant other in your life. Or you put on orange peel juice or orange peel essential oil. And what that would do is that increase your attraction to the significant other that you're looking for. Okay, be responsible with this sound vibration. It helps with attraction towards desired partner, and it makes you desire to both to others. It also promotes the ability to utilize the imagination on higher levels, your creativity. And by the way, let's say you're in a relationship with someone and you want to fix that relationship and things seem like they're going to awry, then chant the Kaleem mantra and chant Het Haru and focus on that. Het Haru and Aset are two deities that's good to invoke around the time when you need to nurture and maintain a relationship. Sam. This is the mantra that strengthens the heart and the mind and the nerves, and it's good for rejuvenation. It contains Kemetic word Sa for protection, and is also a word for essence. So Sam. This particular mantra is good if you're trying to relax yourself, because a lot of times when you have all that inner tension, that is what leads one to having ulcers in their body and sickness. The cortisol starts being released, and you start building up fat in places that you don't want to see it, and so forth. That is a good mantra to stabilize that. Harim, cleansing and purification. It connects with the Herakudi. Herakudi deals with Harim. Let's say if you want to overcome an obstacle or somebody is psychically attacking you, you can focus on Herakudi and ask Herakudi to please not kill the person, but kill the spirit within that person that is attacking you. And you can chant Harim to cleanse and purify that negative energy that's being on your way. Haum, that involves strength, transcendence, and transformation within the individual. Haum, or whom, it contains whom too. Haum, though, that involves transcendence. When you look at the words transcendence, what do you see? Transcendence. You're in a dance, you're in a trance, and you're dancing around. You're in a trance. So you're in the dance of the trance through transcendence. Because everything that you do in life is dealing with variations of trance states. So let's say if you're dealing with anger, then you're in the trance of anger. If you're dealing with jealousy, you're in the trance of jealousy. And to prove that these things are fleeting and transient, a lot of times someone's opinion about another person changes according to their mood and how they feel. Let's say if you saw somebody with a pair of shoes that they just got, and you'd be like, hey man, those are a nice pair of shoes. But if that person pisses you off, those are the ugliest shoes you ever seen, right? So a lot of times we say things based on how we feel at that particular moment in time. And also we want to change how we feel, because a lot of what we want to manifest in life comes to us through how we feel. So one of the ways in which you want to charge up your prayers and heses is to put a feeling behind them. A lot of times when you do not have a feeling behind what you're doing and what you're saying, you just remember I talked about the cultivation of care and the cultivation of love, that asset energy to love what you're doing. That is what gives strength to it. That is what puts us in the place of nurturing that particular child, that it could be your actual children or it could be a project in which you're working on. So I give thanks and praise to all the Neteru. I give thanks and praise to Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, and I'd like to hand the mic over to whoever got anything to say to close this up or continue going. I don't know, we could probably go for hours, but Siva, I know you got some jewels. I know the Queen, I know you probably got some jewels too. Whoever would like to say something, because I'm on the roll right now. So yes, Siva.
Siva, unmute your mic.
Yeah.
Unmute your mic, Siva.
I'm trying to mute.
Pamaro Costa Jero Kujastem. Ubenefique Paneburu Maati. That was Eke Nefe, that was Macharu, True Voice. And I thought I could talk. Ooh, my goodness. You was holding it down. That's how you hold it down. I was sweating. I'm all cooled off now. I'm ready to go back in. It's time to go back in, but I see RAMUTEF keeps popping in and popping out. But we're waiting for RAMUTEF to come back, and I know we got to close it out, but I want everybody to, this is Black Ice TV 7 with Mr. Riggs and Brother Richie. You're over in England on the pond, and like it says down below there, it says Black Ice TV, like, subscribe, and share, and please donate to Black Ice TV 7, because these brothers are bringing us and bringing our community the information that is needed as we are all mobilizing together. They are part of this unit, and we are at war today, and we are bringing you the information. And this is Black Ice TV 7. We want everyone to donate. All that reefer you smoked today, you bought all that reefer today. You've been locked up in the house. Spend some of that money over to Black Ice TV, Richie, so he can keep bringing you quality shows. Mr. Riggs will keep giving you quality shows. And this is just the precursor. This is just the precursor to the RAMUTEF. RAMUTEF is on July 25th on the Gregorian calendar, which would be the first day of the first month of Jehuti, the first day of Ra, the first day of the first month of the first season of Shemu, year number 10, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, Phenomenal Precession, New Age Order, the Great Golden Age of Mata PSI. So this is what we're here to do. We're here to remember our story. First frequency, specifically Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. This is the precious treasure, immortality. And as the Queen Goddess, our great Queen Goddess, Joy Allen had asked the question at the beginning. It was supposed to be a two-part question, one for RAMUTEF and one for me. Next time we gotta pull RAMUTEF. We gotta pull KEPRA back. I thought you had to pull me back. Woo! KEPRA can go. Yes.
Elder, listen, RAMUTEF is on. RAMUTEF, is your mic working? Can you try?
Do I? You hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
First, I mean, KEPRA put to mute his mic.
Let the queen turn off my mic.
And KEPRA Patah, there's feedback.
Yeah, RAMUTEF, speak, brother. Bless the people with your information and your take on the show, because I know you've been having technicals. So before you drop out again, talk to the people before the elder brings us home.
All right. So, as y'all listened earlier to this broadcast, one thing that I point out is when PTAH Asar says that the star that was presented on the day of your birth is no longer on the sky of your birthday is a very true thing. It's bad enough that they stole our history, they stole our traditions, they stole our ceremonies, our rituals. Anything that we do, they stole it. As far as everything that they stole, they went even as far as to stealing your birthday, or what I will call your divine birthright. Well, today, all you listeners, I'm here to tell you that we are able to find that star that was lost to you since we've been on this Gregorian calendar. Give me 1 second. Parking real quick. I apologize. With the IMMORTALITY, I was able to track the stars for 3 years straight. And upon my foundings, myself and the Queen Mother Hamet Joy did a broadcast on zodiac signs. When it comes to y'all zodiacs, everybody should know by now, hopefully, that the sign that you've been going with for all your life is not actually your sign, along with your birthday as well. So, what I wanted to just give a brief breakdown on how they did it. So, if you're going by this Gregorian calendar, you know it's running off of 365 and a quarter days, or 366 days with their leap year. That whole leap year concept just destroys everything that we have as an existence. When it comes to that 365 and 366 is all under a 24-hour count. But understanding that there's actually 24 hours and 35 minutes in a day. So with knowing that, let's say hypothetically speaking, if January 1st, 2020 was on a Monday, then it was on a Tuesday, then a Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then we have a leap year that year, so it jumps to Saturday. Every time it does that, your star jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps. Now, how I broke it down as far as how to find it, all I need is the simple information that astrologists ask for, and that is your birthday, the time that you were born, and the location that you were born. And with the IMMORTALITY, I will be able to find your star among the celestial firmament. This whole conversation has been on atomic energy in a sense, with going passing through subatomic every once in a while. But that's all I want to bring to the table as far as when it comes to your birthright. And then what the brother KEPRA Patel was speaking on, he's absolutely right when it comes to a lot of the information that is given out. And I'll rest my case for this present moment.
Elder Patah, can you still hear us? KEPRA, if you want to speak, you need to unmute your mic, brother.
Yes, I was just booted out. I think I did something where I cut myself out, but I'm back. And I just came in kind of on the tail end on what the brother was saying about RAMUTEF Gab was breaking down. Say give thanks and praise.
I don't know what's going on with the Seba now, the elder Seba. He is muted. I'm trying to unmute him. 1 second. Elder Patar, you need to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. You're muted. If you want to speak and come back in, Elder.
We still on?
Yeah, we're still on RAMUTEF.
Here.
You can
I like to speak while we wait for Siba Patah Sikh-Ra.
please do, my dear.
Okay. Gratitude. In the comments on your YouTube channel, in the comments section, I am posting as the memoirs of a karmic dynasty. So as you read those comments, they are actually coming from me. And in there, I have shared a video that I did along with Siba KHEPRA Patah. So you can view that video on Vibrations and Sounds. I also linked in information on how to purchase your own Rasurian calendar as a study tool as you disassociate yourself with the fraudulent Gregorian calendar. And as Siba RAMUTEF Queb has spoken of the astrology and your birth star, and there are also videos that I have done, and they assist you with disassociating yourself from Western astrology. Right now, we're working with coming away from Western astrology, although there are many types of astrology. We're right now helping people disassociate from the Western astrology. So a few tips to get you started before you continue your study for yourself. For one, the glyphs that we know today, there were the ancient glyphs. The glyphs have been changed in modern times, and some of the glyphs, if not all of them, are in the process of being changed again. So do not attach yourself to those glyphs. And these glyphs includes the planets and the signs, Aries through Pisces. And also, while we're speaking on that, if Siba RAMUTEF Queb or Siba Patah Sikh-Ra would like to share with everyone why the Aries sign is not the first sign.
Well, all right, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what the Hamed is saying is that when it comes to Aries, right? Anything that's dealing with Aries is dealing with that Amen-Ra era. That's just from my point of view. When it comes to knowing that it's not the first time, is mainly due to the age that we're in. And what that's making one complete revolution when Siba Patel was talking about the great year explanation, meaning there's 26,000 years of the phenomenal procession. Also, my fun fact is that how can Aries be the first house when this whole topic that we're discussing is the Kemetic New Year or the Celestial New Year, as I call it, is that if you were to study the time frame of when it is the Rempet, you would know that the sun always enters in KEPRA, or what you would know as known as Cancer. So for Aries to be the first house is very ludicrous, all because of what I just stated just now, all because the sun literally travels through the constellation of Kepler, or what we call, or AKA Cancer. So when it's coming dealing with this astrology, that whole Western astrology, for all those who practice it within the Kemetic tradition or any other tradition, I will advise you to cease it, because what that information that you're giving to the people Sounds very, very well. Sounds very detailed in all forms. But you're giving people a lie. You're still stealing from them like they already stole from us. So basically, you just became a pimp trying to pimp the system.
Yes. Dua usiwa. Dua panatapo pamara was the Jedon Kujazanebu Nefiki Panabu Mati. Dua. And another reason is why you look at the sign of Pisces and you look at the cymatic symbols. And the cymatic symbol for Pisces is two fishes is the glyph. But the cymatic image is two half circles. Two half circles connected by a line or two half circles that intersect. This represents the binary dance of the stars Sirius and Ra. They do a dance together. And this dance at 1,461 years, they're at its closest. And 1,461 years, they're at their furthest. This is a true helical rising. A true helical rising means that the sun and the star rises in unison, breaks the plane. The light of the star Ra and the light of the star Sirius breaks the plane together. That is a helical rising. What we're going to see today is a partial helical rising. We're going to see something rise first, and then 15 minutes later, we'll see Sirius rise, still indicating mathematically and scientifically that our Earth has made one complete revolution around the sun. Remember, this is primordial temple discipline methodology, first frequency specifically. So no matter what we talk about, we must triangulate each and every question and answer must apply mathematically, scientifically, and with our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality, and with astrology and astronomy, in order for us to have absolute accountability and star validation. So look at the symbol of the spice of the corrupted symbol of Western European astrology of Pisces, which is Meduneta for set. And we would see that the symbol of Pisces has the half circles that intersect each other or partly intersect. It has a line connected. That represents the binary dance of the stars Sirius and Ra, which takes 1,461 years mathematically. So make sure you have your mathematics and your science with your culture, cosmic, conscious spirituality. And this way you have absolute accountability and star validation. Now, I know Brother Rich just said we closing it down. We already popped over 2 hours. I just want to let you know that this is Black Ice TV celebrating the KEMETIC New Year's. There's 9 days remaining. Tomorrow will be 8 days remaining. And when we get to this day number 0 is when we celebrate our cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality, because we know there's 365 days in a year on the 24-hour cycle. So why do we not account for these 5 days? Is because the original calendar is 24 hours and 35 minutes. There's 35 minutes between the Duat and the Tuat, which is sunrise and sunset respectively. Our ancestors accounted for every aspect and time of light, which is recorded through ponderable matter, through the visible eye. So we have to be able to recognize this scientifically and mathematically and then place it within our cultural spirituality, or we're just robotic, or we're just Hellenistic. We just become Romans and Greeks, and we cannot applicate this into our spirituality, because this is our story. This isn't history. This isn't his story. This is our story. First frequency, specifically Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, the precious treasure, immortality. So the Queen Mother Goddess asked the questions. We'll close it off with the 4 questions. The questions they've always asked when they came to Africa to steal everything we had. They wanted to know, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? These are the questions that we all asked ourselves. These are questions you must know these answers. Who am I? I am a Shamsueru. I am a Nesubiti. I am a Hemet. I am a Sibat. I am a Mutat. I am a Mutawanzamaat. I am born from the womb I am born from Heru, and Heru was born from Asa and As. And Asa and As was born from Seb the Earth and Nut the Sky. And Nut the Sky and Seb the Earth was born from Shu and Tepnu. And Shu and Tepnu was born from the direct issue of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra, the direct issue. Who am I? Where do I come from? I come from, as I just spoke from the direct issue of Ra-Nb-Ur-Tchr-Ra. This takes you right into the Zep Tepi. So your mind has to go cosmic. You know that the Creator spoke his name as a word of power. You know that energy that's collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. You know that motion is a requirement in the separating of the collective energy contained within a motionless cold void, such as Nu, the primordial ocean of nothingness, dark energy, oblivion, or the cosmological constant. All we're talking about is all of alls here, where everything is, was, and shall be is contained, which you would write mathematically or numerically, you would write zero, nothing. Is the all of all. If you wanted to write nothingness, you would write zero mathematically or numerically, even though that zero, which means nothing, contains everything. This is how our cultural spirituality works. It is dual, okay? And then you say, why am I here? Why am I here? You have to reflect this question, this answer, not only with atomic energy, as the sun gives life daily, so you would give life like Ra, but to polarize this into dualism, you know that in subatomic, the Creator, why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? I am here to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is your immortality, to experience being. And how do you experience being? The same way that the Creator, the process that the Creator used in the meta text, which is applicated scientifically and mathematically, is first she released herself, then she sought out himself, then she overcame the sensation of weightlessness, and then she acquired the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. So in this form here, you've applicated the four primordial field forces, electromagnetism, weak force, strong force, and gravity. You mirrored it with the mathematical equation of the four attributes of manifestation. That first you have Temu, you thought it, the Creator thought it out. Then it became Ptah. Ptah is the door that opened up, because energy that's collected, absorbed, and then stored must be released. When the Creator spoke her name is a word of power, the door opens up and the Creator released himself or herself. Then the Creator found no place upon which he or she could stand, which is called the sensation of weightlessness, which is gravity. The Creator had to overcome the sensation of weightlessness of gravity. Hence comes Amen. Amen is the hidden one. Amen means the primordial mound. And then the Creator said, it pleased me to make others. So I went from Netchr 1 to Netchr 3. I made these beings in the manner in which all things are made. He begins to make solids and liquids and gases, matter. Excuse me. The elements, the Netchrus. And where am I going? My goodness. I better go cough this up. Where am I going? I am going to be Ra-born, Ra-Nu, as a star, expanding with the universe forever and ever. And this is just a precursor to the shows that are coming up. We're going to have Brother KHEPRA coming back, Brother RAMUTEF, and of course the great goddess, Queen Mother Goddess Joy Allen, who is always with us, our great Queen Mother Goddess, who keeps the feminine principle and keeps us in check. She makes sure that the masculinity does not go off haywire. She brings the balance, because we came from the great mother. We're born from the womb of the mother, and we shall return to that cosmic, invisible, umbilical cord called the Milky Way galaxy, the great Mother Goddess Nut, where we will be Ra-born, Ra-Nu as a star, expanding with the universe. And these are the doctrines of immortality. And I know we have to close this out, so I wanted to say in the word, first of all, we are representing the Naga Ship Association and the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment. And I want to say thank you to Black Ice TV Richie and Mr. Riggs for inviting us to the show this evening.
I was going to say, Steve, take a moment, clear your throat, KHEPRA, and
drink some water.
That's it, because you're channeling right now.
Drink some water.
You going in. So you have to take time, and I know in your personal day you're on the move. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing this information. I know what you're under right now. We've spoken on a personal level, so I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, let KHEPRA and Sister Allen say your final thoughts to the people. Anything you want to leave them with until we come back for the next part of the show. Is there anything you guys want to say before we sign out as well? You're both muted, so you gotta unmute your mic, brother.
Unmute your mic, KHEPRA.
There you go, brother.
It was an honor to be on this show. It was a beautiful experience. And being with such divine minds, you know, who want to acclimate their consciousness to the correct time. You know, it's a cause worth living for. And I say that each and every one of us, you know, have something to bring as far as resurrecting our divine culture. I give thanks and praise. And I say, continue to remember the sacred sound. Be aligned with your true star. Let's get ourselves off of this Western calendar and beyond it. And at the same time, don't forget to breathe. Hatep.
No doubt. Sister, give us some divine energy
Yes.
to close on.
Yes, I would first like to speak gratitude to Black Ice TV 7 for having us here today to deliver this message. Also, I would like to insist that everyone gets a calendar. With your calendar, you'll get a PDF copy of the Cosmic Egg as well. And remove yourself from the fraudulent Gregorian calendar. You start there and you'll be fine. If you're not already started, start there. I am known as Joy Allen on Facebook. You can contact me there. You can also follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at MKDTNT. And again, I am known as the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty on YouTube. So again, the comments from in the section from the memoirs, that's me speaking in the comments section. And I thank everyone for sharing the comments, for being involved today during the platform. And everyone brought so much value today, and it was much needed and very necessary. Dua, dua-woo.
Dua.
Okay.
No doubt, no doubt. People, listen, everybody that's stuck with it, joined us, all my UK people who are still with us. It's 2:51 in the morning, but it was definitely an amplifying of energy. All my American brothers and sisters, big up to you for joining us. And big up to Sunray joining us live from Australia sides, Southern Hemisphere. Big up to Mr. Riggs. I know he's been quiet, but he's been doing some bits in the background. So remember, join us again for more shows. It's been powerful, people. See you on the other side.